The following podcast contains naughty language and ridiculous situations. Listener discretion is advised.
Well, it looks like another year has finally come and gone. How did we survive it? I have no idea, and neither does anybody else. But we did. And we're going to be ushering in 2024 by this time next week, by this time next week, by this time next year. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Like I said, it's been a very long year, and hey, you know what? Christmas just went by. I hope everybody got what they wanted for Christmas. You know, maybe a bloody knife or a Jason mask or a boot in the ass. Either way, I hope you all enjoyed it. And I hope you enjoy this show. We did it for you once. We'll do it for you again and again and again and again. We're almost in 2024, folks. So live it up. Welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Welcome to episode 596 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is the world's most dangerous podcast, and it is recorded in front of an undead studio audience here at Castle Wolfenstein, also the lair of lost swag within the Raven Chateau, and Casa de Negative Zero. Looks like we have a cameo back there, MZ. Is that April?
Catio.
Catio.
It's April.
That should be a website, like Catio, where you can just have cats like meow at you. You pay them to meow at you or something. And then they can have like people like Nick Gage tell you to fuck off. Fuck you, Woofy.
Wait, doesn't Nick Gage train a cat?
What?
I think it was Nick Gage. Didn't he train a cat to come to the ring with him?
No, it was Teddy Hart, dude.
Oh, Teddy Hart.
Yeah. How could you get them confused?
All right. Well, fair. Well, I think it's a little bit certain level of crazy, but you're right. It was Teddy Hart.
Well, they're both crazy, I guess. So,
yeah.
It's funny, MZ. During your intro, I thought you were gonna like do some like fucking Groundhog Day shit. Like I thought you were just kept repeating. I was like, what is he doing?
Well, I said this time next week, and I'm like,
yeah,
that's right. Next time next week, and then I started to second guess myself, and I'm like, wait, maybe it's next month, and it is next month, but next week is next month,
and it's also next year.
Next year,
yeah.
So I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Maybe I should have thrown in a Groundhog Day reference. There's Bill Murray when you need him.
I know, right?
I was a little worried, because I thought it was like a remix was going to happen. There's also two like other holidays besides Christmas. You know, there's Kwanzaa,
Raven Show's birthday,
Hanukkah, Raven Show's birthday, Jesus' birthday.
So
celebrating
Crampton's birthday.
Did you say Peter Crampton?
Peter Crampton.
Peter Crampiston? Barbara Crampton. Yeah, she's 65 now, right?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, right?
65 years hot.
I think she's got another good 10 years on her.
10. Looks like she has another 30.
Yeah, well, maybe.
She's a complete good gilf.
A what?
Yeah, she's
a good gilf.
Incredibly, like, over the top. And the best thing about her, this is the best thing about her. Her stock is rising. She's getting more and more offers in horror, and she's becoming more known now than she ever was. She's getting more work, doing good movies too, not just fly by night crap that can get shot in a week and a half. I mean, she's getting put in good productions with good stories, good directors, good scripts, with talented people. I mean, her, like I said, her stock is rising.
If only we could do that. No, I'm just kidding. We've been in some pretty cool movies. MZ's been in a lot more than me and Raven Shadow.
Yeah. we were very integral.
We were the best damn snuff organizers you've ever seen.
We were the best snuff organizers 1 and 2.
So let's talk about what we're doing. So it is the last episode of the year, last episode of the month, last episode of December double feature Cram Jam. I feel like MZ, it's Groundhog Day all over again. So yeah, this will be the last weekly show for 2023. And on the show, we will be talking about the films Birth, Rebirth from director Laura Moss and Attachment from director Gabriel Beer, B-I-E-R, Gislason. Probably butchered that, but there you go. So yeah, we're going to be doing Attachment and Birth, Rebirth, both films on Shudder. And we'll be talking about them to close out the year and close out December double feature Cram Jam. Next, starting next week, Raven Chow, you only have to watch one movie until we have another Patreon takeover.
Oh, I fucking can't wait, Wolfie. I'll be honest with you.
It's been a little rough for me too, because we actually I don't know why I didn't even think about this, but on the Star Wars show, since there's no Star Wars in sight for a while because of the strikes, we decided, I actually, it was my idea. I came up with the idea of like, oh, in December, why don't we do this thing where like we give each other gifts and we pick like Star Wars adjacent movies and then we'll review them on the show, you know, just so we can kind of get some different content. And little did I even realize that, you know, that means I have to watch 3 movies for a podcast during the week. And I was like, ah, fuck. And this past week we did Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. And so that was a 2-hour, 15-minute banger.
Well, Disney got to sue somebody.
Yeah. Well, after Lucasfilm sees it, they're not going to want to sue anyone because it's not worth it. So it's a Zack Snyder movie.
Right.
You know, like, what else can I say? I mean, it's big on visuals and big on, you know, cinematography and low on writing or character interactions or connections or any of that. So
the cast looks good, but like you can't, and it's definitely shot like a fucking Star Wars movie, right? Like the ships and stuff.
Not really.
Totally
no, I don't think it is because there's barely anything that takes place in space. I mean, they show space, but there's barely anything that happens there. The ships all look pretty shitty, I think, like just kind of regurgitated stuff. And a lot of the design is it just feels so regurgitated. Like a lot of the guns look like they're straight out of like Gears of War or something like that, like a video game, Gears of War. And also like Warhammer 40K, it's got this sort of like militaristic sci-fi fantasy feel to it. So it's not a terrible movie. I'm not saying avoid it, but like if that's your big, you know, sort of debut for what you hope will be a shared universe, it's not really putting your best foot forward, I think.
Gotcha.
So,
but they have lightsabers though, right?
Not really. They're like, they're swords that glow. I don't know. Like, they didn't even mention like what happened to him, but like they just have some sort of like, I don't even know. Like they look like they were sort of like magically imbued with fire or something. But essentially, that's the idea, is that they look like lightsabers.
Yeah.
And it's the Magnificent Seven, Seven Samurai.
Right. Okay.
And the other thing that kills me is it's part 1 of 2. And in a month or two, they're just going to put out a fucking director's cut of the fucking Snyder cut of this. So they're milking the fuck out of this. And it's all like, I just see it as Netflix is just trying to keep subscribers because there's the cult of Snyder will, you know, like stay subscribed so they can see all the fucking movies. And so they're going to watch this. And then in like a month or two, the director's cut, the 3-hour fucking director's cut's going to drop. And then in 4 more months, you'll have part 2. I'm sure there'll be a director's cut of that too. It should have been a series. Ultimately, it should have been a series. MZ, are you going to watch Rebel Moon?
No.
What was the last Zack Snyder movie you saw? Was it Dawn of the Dead?
No, I saw.
Did you see the Vegas movie we did?
Oh yeah, that's right. The Dawn, the what the fuck was it? Something of the Dead. I forget what it was called now. Holy shit!
Yeah, like
it was
the
the
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead. Yeah, the zombie
Yeah,
movie.
I
you
saw
did.
that.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so you did see that.
Yeah, we reviewed it.
I know. Yeah, I forgot. Oh, I forgot you were. I wasn't sure if that was when you were on or not.
Yeah.
Nope, I was here. I was here for that.
So, and they attempted to make that into a universe too, because they released another show based on like the Safecracker dude, and like I didn't even know it came out. It apparently came out. I don't think it did very well. So, I don't know if Zack Snyder is really the dude to hinge your fucking shit on. You know.
I think he's fine.
He is
for
fine.
What he does.
Yeah, I mean he's got a cult following. That's like, you know, like that's really it. And he's a good director. I think his stuff looks good. He just doesn't know how to write a script.
That's the thing. Like he's got passion with a plucky spirit. Like I do. We've said it before. I loved his Dawn of the Dead remake. I adore 300. I loved Watchmen. Yeah, and then they gave him a job, and right, wrong, or indifferent, he did the job that he said he was going to do. If the cult should have showed up at the fucking box office.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, if, and I'm not saying all those pictures were bombs. Maybe, expected grossing and what the real grossing is different. Look at fucking Solo. You know what I mean? Like. Unfair expectations, but you guys had your chance when the movies were in theaters. But you blew it.
You blew it.
Sorry, I got distracted because I just opened up the chat room, and at 6:51 a.m. Today, someone posted some porn on our on our chat room, so I'm removing it right now.
Oh, what kind though?
It's gone. I'm not even going to mention.
Oh, okay.
It was just a picture.
Well, thank you.
Think about what was that G.I. Joe clip that we play?
Hope and close your legs like a scissor.
Yeah, there you go.
Torpedo.
There you go.
Torpedo.
Evil Corny is hanging out. It says Rebel Moon Part 1 is a hot mess. I know. Evil Corny joined us last night for the Force Insensitive show.
Oh wow, this fucking another hour.
He says I was sucker punched with a space shillelagh. And he said Zack Snyder did give me the best version of Batman. All right. What do you think, Raven Shadow? Who's the best Batman? Not best Batman movie. Who was the best? Which actor was the best Batman?
It's hard. I think Affleck was a really great comic accurate Batman. I think and Affleck is built like a brick shithouse. Don't get me wrong. Like he's a big fucking boy. But I like to eventually see a sleeker one. I think Pattinson did a great job with the helmet. The helmet looks great.
He did a great job with the helmet. Like he designed it.
Well, no, but he fit his head.
It's not.
So he gets
it's
all
not like
credit for that.
Yeah,
right?
it's not like fucking Cinderella. They didn't just like build some fucking like cowl and have like all the actors in Hollywood come in, and it just happened to fit him the best.
How do we know though? That could be a thing. That could be.
Dude, it's not like you got Rocky Dennis playing Batman, where it's amazing that the cowl fit over his head. Okay,
I want to see Rocky Dennis's Batman now. The Gotham wind on my face.
Rocky Dennis's Batman.
Rocky
Now, see,
Dennis.
now that's a DC movie I would pay to watch.
That's the only comic book movie you'd watch.
I would.
Rocky Dennis. James Gunn's Batman starring Rocky Dennis.
Oh shit! Can we get fucking what's his face as Alfred?
Sam Shepard, right?
Sam Elliott.
Oh, Sam Elliott. That's what I mean. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the mustache.
yeah.
With full mustache.
Yeah, that huge. Oh, he's got one of the best mustaches of all time.
Oh, no shit, right?
Oh,
Well, he was-
business.
That's funny. I thought I did.
Well, I mean, you have a little ways to go to get to Sam Elliott. Yours is pretty good, though.
Yeah, slow it down, bro.
I mean, there's like Sam Elliott, there's Tom Selleck, and then there's
Yeah.
Matsuhiro. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the hierarchy. So you're up there pretty high.
And do I have a better mustache than Michael Cera?
Yes, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
He's got like a little fucking inchworm on his lip.
It's a
No, I
creepy
think-
mustache.
I think it's Sam Elliott, Thomas Magnum. I think Billy D. Williams is up there.
All right. I see that.
It's-
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Hello, what have we here?
I know the fucking line.
I'm just telling you.
You don't have to like, oh, that's who you're talking about.
Oh, Lando. Lando.
You know who else? You know who else? Jeffrey Tambor in 3 O'Clock High.
Oh, hey now.
Now that's a mustache.
I haven't seen 3 O'Clock High in at least 20 years, which I should rectify because that's an amazing movie.
Yes, it is.
Mary and I watched it last year.
I watched it this year.
Buddy Revell, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
Shit's the
that
best.
movie.
Yeah, I love it too.
still fucking holds up like a mug.
I should watch it this weekend. I'm off
Should.
until Tuesday, so
Should. You got the time. I don't know what the hell else you're doing.
got the time ticking in my head. Oh, Marion has a good point here. It's a different kind of mustache, so maybe it should be in a different category. But John Waters has a great mustache, she says.
Yes, yes.
Different category, I think.
Yeah.
You got the thick.
The pencil thin mustache
Yeah.
just over the top lip.
Yep.
That sits just above the top lip. Yeah.
Right, because there should be like the PM. Well, they're both P's. It's like your porno mustache and your pervy mustache.
Which is John Waters.
Derp. Pervy.
Or maybe John Shuck. John Shuck and his Shuck stash.
Who's John Shuck? Their name is familiar to me, but
He was in let's see. He did My Mom is a Werewolf. He did The Munsters Today. He was Herman Munster.
oh,
He's a character actor. He's a character
Yeah,
actor.
yeah.
And, you know, he's been on TV, a shit ton of TV shows, but just put in John Shuck, SCHUCK, mustache, and you won't believe what you're going to see. It's amazing. And once you see him, you'll know exactly who he is.
okay. Looking it up right now. Oh yeah. Okay. Yep.
You've seen him before.
That's impressive.
An impressive mustache. Yes.
It's like long too. It's like he comes down like like drips down
Yeah,
his
yeah,
face,
it
but
is.
it's not quite a like like a Hulk Hogan mustache brother.
Oh,
Like the
brother.
like a Fu Manchu sort of thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It so it comes down and it like starts coming down his cheek here a little bit. It's impressive. It's pretty good.
And then there's Cheech Marin too.
Yes. Cheech Marin.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cheech Marin. You know what I didn't like is when Richard Pryor didn't have a mustache.
He looked odd without one. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he did that in like JoJo Dancer.
Yeah.
Early on stuff.
I definitely think Cheech
Car
Marin
wash.
would have to be in the Mustache Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah,
And he
Oh,
doesn't
yeah,
look right.
Moth-
He doesn't look right without it either. Still, to me.
Right.
Yeah. Like there's something missing.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I agree.
Who else has a good mustache? Now that we're on the topic, let me look it up and see.
Some legendary stashes out there. Lamont Wilson from Sanford and Son.
Here's a good one. Henry Cavill, fucking Justice League, the one they had to remove.
Who?
Henry Cavill. He was filming was it Mission Impossible or
Mission Impossible.
And he needed a mustache for that, and they brought him in to do reshoots for Justice League MZ, and they fucking CGI'd out his mustache.
Really?
I'm surprised you hadn't heard this. Yeah, they CGI'd out his fucking mustache in Superman, and it looks weird because you can tell something's up. You know?
Right. Like actually, like fucking. Oh my lord. I'm gonna say George Romero. Cesar Romero. Cesar Romero looked better with the white makeup on Batman than the dollars it took. Like it probably cost more than Clerks or like Manborg to CGI out Cavill's mustache.
Yeah.
Oh, I would imagine so.
But look at you, MZ. Just one thing, I'm going to tell you something about yourself. You shaved last Friday.
Yeah, right before the show.
And your beard is almost back.
Well, I don't know.
But you got stubble. It's less. Yeah, you get facial hair coming in.
Yeah.
You know, like a mustache grows in quick for the most part. Like we're all pretty hairy motherfuckers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I shaved yesterday. Look at this. No, I'm just kidding. Although I feel like Aries, if he shaved, I feel like 2 days later he'd have a full fucking beard again.
Yeah. Like I didn't groom for a week, and I'm fucking looking.
But I mean, I shaved this off. I go outside, and my face is goddamn freezing.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I really miss it.
I got another one for the Mustache Hall of Fame. Salvador Dali.
Oh.
That's one of the most original ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like two strings coming off of his upper lip.
It's like someone is a marionette for his lip.
Yeah. He might form the head.
You know what? So I'm looking at this list. I don't know if I agree with this one. It's an iconic mustache, but I don't think it's a necessarily good one. Alex Trebek.
No, I like. He looked better with it than without it.
I agree. There's also
it's really hard to pull off just a mustache, especially if you're Caucasian.
I don't know about that.
I think it is.
Look at MZ.
Oh.
He puts the cock back in Caucasian. Look at him.
Oh, no, I have.
Oh, here's.
Yeah, I thought I put the Asian back in Caucasian.
Nope.
Jesus.
Nope.
Here's another one. Charlie Chaplin. Why don't we call it the Charlie Chaplin instead of the Adolf Hitler?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that one's off the table. I think it's like kind of like.
Yeah, but he had it. He had it first.
Yeah. There were other things that were co-opted that were first, but we know what they became. Certain symbols.
There's Sam Elliott, of course, is on the list.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh my God, they included Frida. Frida.
Oh, Frida, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, she had a mustache.
She did.
So
yeah.
Rocky Dennis never had a mustache, did he?
Burt Reynolds.
Oh, Bull Reynolds. Yeah. Reynolds.
He wasn't.
Classic.
To me, it wasn't an iconic mustache. He could grow a good one, but I don't know. Like it's not like Tom Selleck. You know, like he was known for his mustache.
Yeah. And he's
I don't know. I think Reynolds and I think Selleck over Reynolds, but I think after Black Trans Am, it's Stash.
It's Stash. This is funny. I don't agree with this one necessarily, but Mandy Patinkin as Inigo Montoya. my name is Inigo Montoya. Freddie Mercury.
Oh
Yeah.
my, yeah, of the highest order.
Yep. Lionel
Yep.
Richie. That's another good one.
Hello.
Nick Offerman. He is definitely he is live and died by that fucking mustache.
Yeah. Nick Offerman, definitely.
Oh shit. Raleigh fucking fingers.
Of course.
The handlebar.
Yep. Let's see. This is funny. It took me a second. Rebecca Romaine, because she did the Got Milk.
Oh.
Billy.
Actually, didn't she play a bearded lady in something?
That I don't recall. Oh, here's
Selma Hayek did it. Frida.
yeah, she played
That
Frida.
was a different
yeah.
Frida.
Here's another good one. Sacha Baron Cohen as Borat.
Oh,
That's a good
yeah.
mustache. It's
Yes.
a nice. Oh, we already mentioned his name, but I mean it is iconic. Brother Hulk Hogan.
Oh,
Yep.
for sure.
Wilford Brimley.
Oh, goddamn.
That fucking like what is that? It's like a it's like the
Yeah.
thing on his lip.
My man didn't give a fuck about
Oh,
landscape.
here's another good one. Geraldo Rivera.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty
That's a
iconic.
bad one.
Or Hector Ramirez, if you follow the G.I. Joe Sunbow cartoon.
Oh, this is funny. In this list I'm looking at, it also includes Efren Ramirez, who we talked about last week from
Oh,
Satanic.
Pedro.
his Satanic Hispanics, but yeah, as Pedro. Yeah.
Yep.
It says, honestly, there was more than one amazing mustache in 2004's Napoleon Dynamite, but we have to go with Pedro. Iconic. Simply iconic.
But that was a role, though. The
I
guys,
know, yeah.
people we mentioned, fucking lived it.
Steve Harvey is another one I see.
Yeah. No, he's a good mustache.
And oh shit, this is a funny one. I would never like think of this dude as someone with a mustache, but Milo Ventimiglia from Heroes.
Oh,
I guess
Heroes?
he rocked one in This Is Us. I guess
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Smoking
So I don't know.
Ties tried a couple of times.
There
That
you
always
go.
weirds me out.
There's the mustache talk. If anyone has any other good mustaches, feel free to post them.
Yeah, much talk.
Corny says I'm going to go historical with Bass Reeves' mustache. Yeah, that's a fucking killer mustache. It's in the chat.
Bass Rutten.
Bass Rootin'. No, he didn't have a mustache.
Bass Rootin'.
Rootin' tootin' Bass Rootin'.
Didn't Harley Race have a stash? I feel he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
It was that kind that was like it grew out and then it went to his mutton chops.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The other fucking guy, Dutch Mantel.
Oh, he had a pretty fucking enormous one for a while. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. It's all the mustache talk. It's all because MZ.
Yep.
All right. What else? Trying to think there's some other stuff. Oh, let's do, I guess, a little bit of housekeeping until something else comes up. But so what we're going to do, we have the year-end show coming up. We're going to be recording it this weekend. I'm not sure which day quite yet. But I guess we'll just, Raven Chat, do you have a preference, Saturday or Sunday?
I have a lot of preps. I do work the shop, but I think Saturday might be better before New Year's Eve.
True. Okay. So we're not decided yet. We'll lean towards that. But if you guys want to get any of your top 5 lists in, try to get them in by Saturday, let's say 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, something like that. And as always, you can do top 5 of anything. Top 5 first-time watches, top 5 Trick or Treat Radio movies that we reviewed in 2023, top 5 mustaches, top 5 MZ quotes for the year, whatever, anything you want. Top 5 comics you read, top 5 books you read, top 5 albums, top 5 songs, and literally anything. Top 5 physical media releases that you bought this year. So feel free to just choose whichever top 5 you want, and then go ahead and submit it. Podcast at trickortreatradio.com. And just put top 5 in the subject and make sure you get it to me by Saturday around 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you got about, a little less than 48 hours. And yeah, we'd love to play them on the air. We will also be doing our top 13 lists, the year-end lists. We'll pick our top 13 films for 2023, and then we'll combine our scores and come up with a master list for the year. I was just looking through the films this year, and I have no idea what's going to be number one. There's not a clear-cut number one. In years past, there's been like, you look and you'd be like, okay, well, I could see this, or this maybe.
Right.
But this year, I feel like it's going to be really up in the air. It could be, I don't know. I don't really have one I feel could be close near the top, but I don't know. You guys always surprise me during these, so maybe there's something that happened earlier in the year that I'm not remembering that you guys loved. But yeah, we'll do the top 13, and that'll be coming out on New Year's Day, January 1st. So feel free to send in your top 5 lists, and then we're also going to do, as we've done the last couple of years, we do a companion piece for the Patreon show. It's just sort of like a kind of goes hand in hand. So for those Patreon supporters, we put out the episode. Usually it's on the same day, but maybe a couple days later just to give people time to listen to everything. But it will be, we'll do our Dear God No Award. We do that on the Patreon. And then we do our own personal top 5 lists. Do you guys know what you're doing yet? And do you want to give a tease, or you just want to hang on to it and just reveal it on the Patreon show?
Oh, I'll do it on the Patreon show.
Well, I mean, do you know what the list is going to be, and do you want to reveal it, or do you want to keep it a secret?
Oh, no. I haven't even assembled that together yet.
Okay.
I've only just started whittling away my top 13 list.
Yep.
Just yesterday.
Well, I'm going to do the same thing I've done the last few years, so it's not a surprise. I'm going to do top 5 albums. They're probably all going to be metal, but because I listen to other stuff too, but that's the stuff that sticks for me. So it'll probably end up just being top 5 metal albums, but maybe it'll just be top 5 albums. There's a few things that aren't like super metal that could make their way in there. So, but I'm going to do top 5 albums of 2023. Do you have an idea, Raven Shadow, or do you want to keep it close to your vest for now?
Both.
Okay, so tune into
I don't have an idea, but the idea I do have, I want to keep close to the vest.
All right.
I think what I'll do is top 5 Blu-rays.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That came out this
physical media
that came out this year, or just your top 5 that you own?
this year.
Okay.
This year.
Cool. So Angry Townsman asked, do you want email, text list, or voicemails? I mean, we always love voicemails. That's my preference, but we always accept email as well. So first preference, voice message if you have the time. Otherwise, feel free to send an email. We always just love hearing people, hearing their voices and hearing what they get excited about. So there you go. What else are we doing? So and then in January we're gonna we'll come back to one movie, and also at the end of January, I just saw this as I was planning out January, but the final episode of January, which would be January 25th, it's our 600th episode. So I don't know if we're, once again, I feel like as the milestones continue to grow, it's just like what are we going to do that we haven't done before? So I'm not quite sure what we'll do. We'll do something, but episode 600, a lot of times we typically don't do a film discussion, and we plan some other kind of fun stuff. So we may do something along those lines. I'll have more details as we get closer. But if you guys have any thoughts, any opinions, or recommendations, feel free to toss them our way and let us know what you'd like to see for episode 600. But that'll be coming up the 25th of January. And we have some movies that just dropped on VOD, like right at the end of this year, that I'll probably I think we'll end up doing at the beginning of next year. So, we weren't able to get them in this year, but there's a couple that are pretty interesting. And one that's in theaters right now that I can't wait until, well, actually there's a couple in theaters right now that I want us to do. So, and they're of directors and or films that we would have done anyways, probably, but they're getting a theatrical run right now. So, yeah, I think that's it for that stuff. Let's let's go right into the Patreon stuff, because we do have 2 movies to talk about. I want to make sure we have enough time to discuss these films. Also, before we do that, Raven Shadow, are you gonna watch the AEW pay-per-view on Saturday? Were you aware of it?
I knew it was coming, but I'm probably not going to watch it since Tom Smythe moved to Vegas.
He moved to Vegas?
Yeah.
That's weird. I guess what happens in Vegas literally stays in Vegas.
Yeah, he stayed there. Yeah, he moved this summertime. So,
that's crazy.
He's out with a lady friend that just a lady friend, but
just a lady Vegas. Friend.
Yeah, I don't know. I got my own problems, but
well, yeah, we know that. Well, good for him.
He's out with that girl he knows, and he's got a spot. But yeah, so he's my PPV connection, and so I have to watch the highlights.
Well, I just thought of that because I was actually going to watch it live, but if we're doing the show, I might not be able to. So,
I want to watch a pay-per-view with you, Wolfie.
You want to drive down here?
I like it when you come up here.
Yeah, I figured. What's that, MZ?
I bet he does.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I was going to get to talking about how you can support the show. And speaking of which, once again, I just thought of something else. We have a new Patreon supporter. And I think he may have already been a Patreon supporter at one time. I don't recall. But new Patreon member, Joshua Libre.
Oh, such a brother.
He is such a brother. And Joshua Libre, he is in the Terminator tier. And you know what that means? That next year, we will have someone else joining the Patreon takeover list.
Brother rating 10. So
we have there is one Patreon show we didn't get to this past year, and that was because the film they wanted to do was one that's not out yet. So we're going to wait until it's available. So when that does drop VOD, we'll have a Patreon show.
Like, it wasn't made yet. Like, he wanted to do
it's
Superman Legacy 2.
No, it's in theaters. It's not available for VOD. So once that does appear on VOD, we'll do that. So we will have one extra Patreon takeover next year, but we're not all full yet. So we don't have the full 12. We try to do one a month, but I think there's still 1 or 2 more slots left. So if anyone wants to get in on that, there's still a little bit of space, and you can get into the Terminator tier and get your own takeover. So big thanks to our boy Joshua Libre for the support and for joining the Patreon.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, so let's see here. Yeah, so Patreon, if you guys want to help support the show, that's the best way to do it. Patreon.trickortreatradio.com. And you can join for as little as $2. That's it, $2. And if that's a little bit too rich for your blood right now, we understand. You can also just join for free. And you can just go follow us on Patreon and get updates about all the stuff we're putting out there. And then if you're ready later on down the road, you can go ahead and sign up for whatever tier you want. But yeah, it's a great way to support the show. You get something in return, and we get the financial backing to continue to do the show. So any and all help you guys provide is appreciated. And if you guys want to get that supplemental content for the year-end show, you got to get in on that Patreon. So as little as $2 will get you that Patreon exclusive episode dropping at the beginning of January, where you can hear the Dear God No Award and our personal top 5 lists. So go ahead and give that a look. Patreon.trickortreatradio.com. And there's a couple other ways you can support the show. You can head on over to trickortreatradio.com. And there, you're going to scroll down on the front page. You see the Amazon logo. You click on it. It brings you to Amazon. It's this amazing thing. It's a fucking hyperlink. It's a link, Raven Chat. You click it, and it brings you to the place we want to send you. And when you're there, it inputs our affiliate link. And anything you purchase in that entire session while you're there gets attributed to us. We get a tiny little cut, Raven Shadow.
But it doesn't cost that any extra. It just helps keep the lights on. Why I feel you're setting me up for failure? What are you doing?
Know, let's try something different. I'm not setting you up for failure. No, you did all right. You handled it. You handled it. You handled your shit.
Professional.
So give that a look. Use the link. And finally, we have the Trick or Treat Radio Greatest Hits, volumes 1 through 3. It is on trickortreatradio.com. Just click on store. And there you can go ahead and purchase the greatest hits, versions 1 through 3. It's sort of highlights, lowlights, midlights, everything in between. It's songs, interviews, arguments. It's a nice little sampler of the first several years of Trick or Treat Radio. So you can go ahead and check that out. Give it a listen and support that way. All right, Raven Shadow. So you sit down.
Yeah.
Last time for the year, you're going to watch 2 movies a week. Probably until next December. Well, until the next Patreon takeover, I should say. So what do you do to prepare to watch 2 fucking movies? You know, it's a busy week. It's it's Christmas. It's Raven Shadow's birthday. How do you do it?
Oh, I suffered the tortures of the damned, Wolfie. I'll be honest with you.
That's my name.
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but you know what was nice? With the holiday hoopla, whatever the fuck, very nice. I had my birthday, and I was very lucky to have the gifts that I had, but I didn't grab them because they're upstairs, and Ollie's been on the stairs kind of quiet, so I didn't want to fuck him up. But Marion got me 2 killer shirts. She got me one that was, it settles the problem of, who's better, Lemmy or God? It's actually Jesus with Lemmy's face on it, which is pretty great. And she also got me a dope Canon logo T-shirt.
Nice.
Which is pretty dope. So with the realization I could wear these anywhere, you better believe I strapped on.
Greetings! We are the Retro Reductopus Cephala Podcast, a bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
He's right. We wax philosophic about lots of geeky crap like old video games and movies, toys, cartoons. I don't know, help me out here.
Music,
pants,
quoting video games that don't have dialogues,
Shabibans,
tasty news,
unnecessarily long Japanese onomatopoeia,
butt breathers,
uncomfortable nature facts,
or how to install a thermoflange.
And unlike all those other podcasts, we at Retro Reductopus have an exciting rotating host schedule.
Do we?
We sure do. So, if you didn't like the guy flapping his gums this week,
like me,
worry not, gentle listener. Next week, we'll have a whole new host.
Of problems.
Hey, they might still suck, but they'll suck differently.
And you know what's really cool? Retro Reductopus is part of the Inebriard Podcast Network, with new episodes out every Tentacle Tuesday.
Which is like every other Tuesday. We named it.
Anyways, you can listen to us at iTunes, Google Play, Spotify,
I'm
Stitcher,
Alex West, and I'm Andrea Subasati, and we're from the Faculty of Horror podcast.
And you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
You go through your week with the same old routine.
What you really want is some blood and thunder in your life.
Well, friend, you found it.
The Cromcast is an adventurous journey through the history of two-fisted pulp stories.
With your hosts John,
Josh,
and Luke.
We have action,
horror,
and adventure, all through the lens of pulp luminary Robert E. Howard.
Don't just stay in your ordinary life.
Find your pulp life at thecromcast.blogspot.com.
The Cromcast.
The Cromcast.
The Cromcast.
A podcast for the barbarian at heart.
I'm Mike Allred. For the gidgiest listening experience, you got to check out Trick or Treat Radio.
All right, we are back on Trick or Treat Radio, and we are going to talk about some movies now. Let me go ahead and pull up some details here. First of all, we're going to talk about the film Rebirth, and the film from 2023 is rated R, and it is. This is hour 41. I think it was like 97 minutes, though, I thought. Maybe I'm wrong. Somewhere in there. I thought it was 97 minutes. But anyways, it's a drama horror thriller, and it is directed by Laura Moss and written by Laura Moss and Brendan J. O'Brien. I want to see if I'm not familiar with Laura Moss, so I want to see what else.
No, this is her directorial debut.
Okay, well there you go.
Yeah,
yeah. So she's done, her feature film debut. So she's done some shorts, and it looks like an episode of a TV show. But yeah, this is her directorial debut. She's also been, let's see. Yeah, she wrote some shorts, and she has been a production designer on shorts and TV series and stuff. So, So, all right. So, directed by Laura Moss, and the film stars Marin Ireland, Judy Reyes, LaChance, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, Brita Wool, and that's pretty much it. I want to know who played Muriel the pig. And also AJ Lister as Lila. That's a pretty important one.
Oh, yeah.
The synopsis for this flick: a morgue technician successfully reanimates the body of a little girl, but to keep her breathing, she will need to harvest biological materials from pregnant women. When the girl's mother, a nurse, discovers her baby alive, they enter into a deal that forces them both down a dark path of no return. I think that's too much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't really... I don't know. I guess it's like it doesn't reveal too much, but I feel like the less you know, the better. Because then there's some twists and turns, and you're like, oh, shit, I didn't see that coming, or I didn't see this coming. So... that's, I think, a misstep. I don't know. Why can't we just do, like a morgue technician, let's see,
Reanimates the dead.
Not even like you could even do that, but you could even say a morgue technician heads down a dark path of no return. You know, like that right there is like, what's she doing? You know,
right? Or then maybe like a recently despondent mother joins her side or something, or becomes a willing participant in chaos.
No, that's what happens when people join the show.
It's true. Yeah. Well, yeah. Sorry, Joshua Libre, when you became a Patreon callback. But speaking of which, I remember hearing the OTC discussion of this film, and I remember enough of the premise, and truly the thing I remember most of the episode was the conversation about the bar scene, or if you will, the stall scene.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to.
Yep.
But I do agree that the least you know about this picture, the better. Yes,
absolutely. And also, just one thing to point out too, if anyone is like squeamish about like watching like back in the day, like I remember my mother is a nurse, and she used to occasionally watch like these like shows where they show operations, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, you know, I like horror, but I don't really want to see like the inside of someone's body and all getting cut up and shit like that. There is a little bit of that in this, so if that's something that like it grosses you out, you know, just a little word of warning. And there's also big needles. So if you don't like, if you're not into needles, you know, just avert your eyes, I guess. But yeah. So this flick here, and this had been getting, as I mentioned, this one showed up on some best of lists that I had noticed, and had been getting a pretty good little amount of buzz. And so I also wanted to kind of include it in our year before the year ended and see if maybe it could be a contender. And so this is, I mean, we've already given the synopsis that they wanted you to have. So it's not out of line for me to say that this is a take on the Frankenstein mythos. A take.
Right.
It's not, definitely not an exact retelling of the story. It's just loosely sort of on that tip. And so this one, I think, I don't know if I mentioned, but it's streaming on Shudder if you guys want to check it out. And I recognize the lead, Marin Ireland. I'm just trying to think of what else we might have seen her in. Oh, okay. So I don't know if I didn't. Oh, she was in The Empty Man. That's right. So the movie we did a few years back. Oh, and she was also in The Dark and the Wicked. That's right.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's why I knew she. And also another film called Piercing. We did that film. So she's been in a few films that we've done before. That's why she looked familiar. But she's also been in some other films that we haven't done, but would be, you know, recognizable to people. Like she was in like The Irishman. Let's see, Why the Last Man TV series. She was in the Umbrella Academy TV series. So she's definitely made the rounds a little bit here and there. But that's why she looked familiar. They did a really good job though of making her look anemic and like she never sleeps. And, you know, I think that, you know, I'm not a makeup artist, but to me, that seems like something that might be a little difficult to get just right, you know, because... Well, yeah, go ahead, MZ. Go on.
Well, you know what I think it is that she was completely devoid of any makeup.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so her eyes aren't enhanced, her cheeks aren't enhanced, her neck muscles aren't enhanced, her temples aren't enhanced.
Also, I mean, she, like, what I mean is, like, she had like black under her eye, like like circles and just look really gaunt and like pale, and it's not
they did
just
a good
that
job with her.
Yeah. And not just that she wasn't wearing makeup. It was just like, there's definitely a little something extra going on with some of the makeup, and they did a good job with that.
But I'm just talking about like the traditional type of makeup.
Sure.
And make someone up look and make them look good.
Yeah.
Here, they a little bit of makeup, but just to make her look exactly the way you described her, and she looked fantastic. Because it suited the role that she was playing to a T.
Yeah, definitely. So with that, let's go ahead and do first impressions. So I guess I'll kick it off, and I didn't have any preconceived notions about this. I just had heard that it was pretty good, and I knew sort of it was a take on the Frankenstein mythos. So really, that's all I knew coming in. And I think what we have here is a film that it definitely there's a lot of drama to it, but there also is a lot of, I don't necessarily want to call it dread, but I would say tension, because we have Rose, played by Maren Ireland, and she is, stealing bodies and other things from, from her job as a morgue technician. And so you always have this undercurrent of someone's going to catch up to her. Someone's going to find out what's going on here. And so that's kind of an undercurrent that's running. But also another thing with her, and I watched this with Tanya, and she pointed this out, that Rose is clearly a sociopath, and meaning she really has no sort of thought for human life. Like, it's just, and it doesn't affect her, right? It's just like she just sort of makes these decisions with zero empathy. It's just like, oh yeah, okay, well, let's do that, or we'll do this, or we'll have this person come in and get this test done, and think that their baby is going to have issues, and just zero empathy for other people. So, and I think that makes sense for someone doing what she's doing in her role. That person would probably have to be a sociopath, and that was definitely something going on here with her. So, I think it's an interesting character study for her, but also that of a mother with Celia, played by Judy Reyes. And also, I will say, a really good performance by AJ Lister, who played Lila. There's some, I don't know how old she is, but I'm guessing 7 or 8, maybe. I think that's all she was supposed to be, about 8, I think. But that character, there's some stuff in here that was she had to look kind of spooky, or very, she had to look a certain way. And I feel like she kind of nailed it, and I can't imagine that's an easy thing to do, is to ask a child to, how do you say, we're telling a, Frankenstein story. You have to look kind of evil and soulless and emotionless here. How do you tell a kid that, So, yeah. But overall, I feel like this had a really interesting sense of not necessarily dread, but tension all the way through, just thinking that something is going to happen. Something with this has to go wrong. Something has to happen. And when is that going to be? And, but then we find out, what are the lengths that these two people will go to sort of keep this going, and that's where I think it really gets interesting. So I guess I'll kind of stop there with my first impression, and I'll kick it over to one of you guys.
Okay. Rose is absolutely a sociopath. She doesn't interact well with others, living or dead. the way she talks to people, whether they be her underlings or her superiors, she has a very monotone voice throughout the entire thing. It's like you said, she has no regard for human life, live or dead. And it carries on with that traditional thinking that morgue technicians are this way. And, I haven't seen a happy morgue technician yet, so there's got to be something to it. And,
have you seen a lot of them?
Oh, thousands. And and I thought that she carried that perception of what we think of a morgue technician or anybody who works in a morgue to be that way.
Yeah, because you think
it carries on.
There has to be a little something wrong, right? You're seeing dead people literally all day. Yeah. So you have to, at least if there's a little something going on there, or you have to have really done a lot of digging and like making sure you're okay with this. Like, there's definitely something that has to happen for that.
It's almost though as if something in the psyche, in the brain, has to be forced out in order for the intelligence and the wherewithal to perform an autopsy to wedge into the brain. So in other words, something has to fall out of that brain in order for the intelligence of doing the job that she has to do to get in there and know what she's doing.
Right.
And that's probably being empathy, feeling,
So whether or not you're devoid of it to begin with, or you find ways to sort of like push it away, or meditate it away or something, like do something to make sure it doesn't stick with you,
Right. But she's the heart of this movie too, by the way. I mean, but we'll talk about that as we continue on. But I think it's a little bit more of a convenience where you got these two people who have never really interacted before, between Rose and what's her name?
Celia.
Where these two work in the same building. They've worked together for a number of years or whatever, but they've never really interacted. Probably mostly on Rose's part.
Because they wouldn't. They're different roles.
Sure. But this one little incident, bonds them together. So
right.
I don't know. There's something a little unusual about that, but at the same time, it kind of really makes a whole lot of sense. But we'll talk about that more as we go along, and I'll just pass it on to Raven Shadow.
All right, go ahead, Raven Shadow.
So doing first impressions.
Yeah.
So from the jump, Rose reminded me of Frasier's wife Lilith from
B.B. Doors.
From Cheers. That very stoic, bookish type. That is great probably in her science and her role, but does not know about human interaction. Which could be fair. Maybe that's why you do work with the dead, so you don't have to be around people. There are certain people I know who work in IT or some jobs that know their stuff. They just can't interact with humans. And Cecilia, I think that was a great character, and I'm watching it realizing, oh, this is the woman from Scrubs who was Turk's wife.
Oh, yeah, I've never seen it. That's funny.
And it's funny, she's known for some great comedic timing, but in my first scene, I'm like, oh, it's the woman from Scrubs. And then 20 minutes into it, I'm into Celia's performance. Like, she had me locked in that, wow, maybe she really is a nurse in real life. She was fantastic, so I was along for the ride there. And what this movie did was, I agree. I think Wolfie mentioned it earlier. It's very tense throughout, and you're wondering where it's going to go. And I think this movie enters a trend we've seen recently of taking certain tropes, whether it be the Frankenstein, trope, or a face-off trope, and doing it in a way that leads a little bit more believable science fiction, if that makes sense, right? Great science fiction is believing it exists.
Yeah.
Without having to stretch that, without having a MacGuffin.
Yep. Agree. So let's dive in a little bit and let's talk about this flick. So without giving it a sort of like blow by blow plot breakdown, we have a very tragic event. We have at the beginning, what is her? Judy Reyes, who plays Celie. She loses her daughter to a very fast, was it bacterial meningitis? Yeah, bacterial meningitis, which I didn't realize can happen that quick, but apparently it can. So, that's pretty crazy. And it just shows someone who, is living the life of really anyone in this modern day. Is like, it feels like there's never enough time, and we're always, we're always like tied to our phones, and like it's just go, and then
she's also too a single mom,
right?
In a high traffic job. She's I'm not sure what her level of nursedom is, but
nursedom. But that's a pretty important job, though. I think, is someone who delivers, children, works in the
unit.
Yeah.
There's stress, but she enjoys what she does. You can see that she enjoys what she does.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. But that once again takes a certain amount of people, and it's something that I struggle with, where I'm like, okay, well, I'm fucking stressed out, but I don't see somebody die on a daily basis or live or have complications, and that's a certain level of stones to have that kind of job. And she's also a single mother, taking the bus, like she's hustling.
Yep.
And
she does say later on, when she says it was IVF, I think was what she said, and that's
in vitro fertilization.
Yeah, so it was, so there's no father in the picture. So yeah, it's just her, and yeah, so it's. I mean, the movie's kind of heartbreaking, right? Like at the beginning, it's like, holy fuck! Like, I think they did a good job of showing what's happening without really like making you feel like a piece of shit. It's like you feel bad for her and everything, but like I feel like they could have done that in a way that really just made people fucking like devastated. I feel like they treated it with respect, that it's an important thing that happened to her, and we see her grieving, but it's done in a way that doesn't feel like it's exploitive of the character. I don't know if that makes sense, but we're not seeing her just crying and like trying, like really like we're seeing her struggle for sure. But I think the way they showed it was nice in like when her friend, the one who was watching her daughter at the time that she died, says, "No, I'm going to stay with you." And she's like, "Get the fuck out of my face," or whatever. It's like, whoa. But you feel for her, right? Like you can understand that.
100%. Sorry. The only thing I want to say real quick is like when we see that she's struggling and her daughter's sick, and so she has her resident apartment babysitter, but she has to go do her job. And then we see what happened to her phone and why she wasn't maybe able to take those calls. And so you're left with. I cannot imagine what it's like for a mother with a child. I fucking can't. I can empathize in some things, but I can't imagine a mother with a child. But knowing how she left off with her child was screaming for her to stay.
Yeah.
And
missing
saying,
the
"I couldn't work,
calls.
baby."
Yeah.
And she missed those calls and not having that closure.
Yeah.
Or even writing it out to like, she took the power back. She took the, like, where is my fucking child?
Yeah.
As somebody who's in the system, like, and that's the thing, like, when you work in a certain business, you care about your customers or your members, but when you can see behind the curtain, like, who are you fucking with right now?
Yeah.
Who's the last fucking person that saw my daughter? Because I've written this paperwork up before.
Yeah.
Like, don't fuck with me, motherfucker.
Exactly. And that's the interesting thing is what happened, when what happens, Rose doesn't know that the mother is someone who works in the hospital. And, so it's interesting and how that all happens. But, yeah, it's a tough like road at the beginning here where, Celie loses her daughter and all these things. Like, she's very regretful about how it all happened. And, and even when she listens to that last voice message, like, oh man, it's so heartbreaking, right? Like, she couldn't get the call. She didn't take the call. And, it is heartbreaking. So they do a good job of showing how you can be along for the ride. And you'd be like, yeah, I would fucking do that every single time, right? Like, what, when she finds out what Rose is doing, like, every single time you go along with that, right? Like, is there any situation in which if you guys were in her position, you wouldn't do what she did?
You have
to fly off the handle the way she did.
No. Allow Rose to go through with her procedure and what she's doing.
I can't imagine any rational person allowing that to even happen.
Well, what I'm saying is the opposite. I absolutely if the only thing I can say is if it was, I hate to even think this, but Ozzy, if something happened and someone has a way to bring him back, yes, do it, please. I will do anything. Yes. So
you understand the pet cemetery.
Right. I mean,
yeah.
This is different though because it's rooted in science and not supernatural stuff,
Right. True.
Well, you know what I finger quotes, rooted in science.
Right. I wouldn't. I mean, sure.
Well, that's fine. I'm
nice
just
for that to happen. It would be nice for that to happen, but if for it to be rooted in science, there'd have to be some sort of success stories. And from what we know about Rose, there haven't been any success stories as of yet.
Well,
but there is.
For a woman to give up. Wait. For a woman to give up her child, alive or dead, for a woman to give up her own child to be used as a science experiment.
Well, she didn't give her up.
But that's also part of the problem is that no paperwork was signed on this.
Yeah, but no,
and
she didn't do anything. Rose took her.
They couldn't find the body.
Yeah, Rose took her. She had no choice in the matter.
Which is further complicated. Right?
No, I mean, so I guess what I'm trying to say is just to go take a step back. The way this all went with the mom, Celie, it made complete sense to me that she would go along with what Rose was doing based on how there was unresolved issues and her daughter was taken from her so quickly and she never got a chance to say goodbye. All these things. Absolutely. Like, I mean, sure. I mean, MZ, I'm not saying 100% of people are going to go through with it, but like in in the context of this film, you can absolutely relate to Ceely's actions, and I don't think it's out of line, and I don't think it's like, why the fuck would you go along with this? I think it absolutely makes sense the way that they build it, and that's, to me, that's where this is most effective. Yes, it's a movie, and yes, it's science fiction, but in the context of the film, I absolutely understand why she made that decision that she did to continue to allow Rose to do this. That's what I'm trying to say.
And she could also
go ahead. No, go ahead.
It was, and she could also use her skills to. So you're in this remarkably tragic time frame. You see this glimmer of hope, and she could use her skills and focus that into something. Like even down to like she can't be left alone. Like you have to turn her.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And it's a thing in the medical world where like surgeons are kind of called cutters, right? They could hack and slash. Probably not the best bedside manner. If you're dealing with a morgue doctor, they're dealing with the aftermath and answering questions to mysteries. You know, so it's a certain mindset for these things, but realize you have someone that can create this can recreate life, but you don't have a nurse there to handle the small stuff.
Right. And, you know, and what Rose was doing this time compared to her previous experiments, like you said, it's a very different thing. Like, you know, from experimenting on animals, you know, to a human, it's a very different thing. And so, yeah, you're right. Like it was sort of like very convenient and made a lot of sense to have Ceely, you know, help. And of course she was very, very ready to help and very willing.
I disagree.
Okay. So if you were given that whole thing, like if you were in that position, what would you do if you saw what Rose was doing to your child or daughter or whatever?
First of all, it just comes across like she, doesn't come across. It is, she's just willing to go along with it. There's no blowback, no legal ramifications involved for either one. And
that would make for a compelling movie. Let's take us to court.
Well, come on. Do you honestly think that something like this would, in the real world, do you think something like this, regardless of whether or not a person can bring the person back from the dead or not, do you really think that if it was pulled off in this manner, that it would be done in a legal way? No goddamn way.
Of course not. No.
Of course not.
Because as soon as that happens, it's over.
Yeah, so you got to accept, so you got to understand that there are legal ramifications involved. Sure, the mom wants her daughter to come back. I mean, that's understandable. But to have some mad scientist operate on your daughter and use her as an experiment with the hopes of bringing her back to life, I mean, I don't know, it just comes across as a little bit too much for me to accept.
I mean, it's to each their own, right? But what I'm trying to say is, like, I feel like they did this exactly the way it should have gone, and I believed all the actions made complete sense to me in the sort of grand scheme of this movie. But I mean, there's no point in continuing to, be at odds about it, because I want to kind of move on and talk about more of the film. But for me, it made sense. So let's see, where else can we go with this one next? I mean, beyond the whole thing about, whether or not this, would go along with this. To me, it's one of those things where I don't know about the science behind it. I can't say yes or no that this could actually happen or not, but they did, to me, I think they did a good job in layman's terms of making it appear like, oh yeah, that makes sense to, like stem cell, like they explained the way that they were able to sort of like make it work. And to me, that was sufficient. It wasn't something where I was like, come on, what the fuck, like it just made sense. That was fine with me.
Well, they used the starfish analogy.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Regeneration of cells, and it had to do with the right confluence of events, like even down to the fact that this child happened to be that percentage of a donor with Rose, where even her mother's genetic material wouldn't have been enough. That was the right mixture, which I still find is weird that like our blood type is not in our charts. Are you guys aware of this?
No, I wasn't. Well, I guess that makes sense because I mean I have access to my chart and I don't remember seeing it there. So,
but even doctors don't know it. I asked my doctor. You have to have a separate blood test to test your type.
Is that for a reason? Is that so doctors can't steal your blood?
No. But what concerns me is like in the event of an accident, you would have to have your blood tested before they knew your type.
Oh, I know your type, Raven Shadow.
I definitely have a type. But regardless, the right confluence of events, for this, movie magic to occur. But I was along for it made sense to me.
Yeah, same here. And, I feel like the sort of just what they were proposing with the science behind it, I feel like it just sort of, it made sense. I was like, okay, I'm not a scientist. I can't fact check this, but I don't know. Look, it sounds legit, and there's a lot about stem cells that, because we know that they can help with, it was controversial back in like what, the late 80s, early 90s. I think it was like 90s, like, like stem cell research was something that was, pretty controversial. But eventually that's something that I've read articles that it, like could help regrow, body parts or, whatever, like
brain matter, cell. I mean, obviously there was the South Park episode. Also, but Kevin Nash, he goes to like South America every couple of months to get some stem cells.
Yeah, I mean, so there is some certainly some truth to that. And now, granted, do I think that this would happen in in a New York City apartment? No, of course not. But I mean, there's a certain verisimilitude. Like you have to suspend disbelief to. And to me, I was able to do that within the within the sort of confines of what this movie was presenting. So,
and I agree too. And I thought it brought these two characters together in a time of tragedy.
Yep.
And even down to the line of like, oh, you're back at work. Like, yeah, I'm here. So where's the funeral? Oh, we're not religious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh shit, your daughter just died. But how do you tell someone they're acting inappropriate when their child dies?
Right. I mean, that's no one's place to say.
You don't. But if it put them together and it allowed this odd couple to almost even form a weird family dynamic, like going for shopping.
Yeah.
And I made you salad. And
I made you stem cells.
Yeah, I made you stem cells. Or like, it smells like meat. No, yours has rice. Yours has celery and broth.
Yeah,
mine has chicken and rice. Like. we didn't touch upon the bar scene. And,
okay. Yeah. Well, go ahead. Yeah.
You know, there is a scene where we learn that Rose, how her methods of extraction may be different than others, but she's in the bar. She orders a Cobb salad without all the elements that make it a Cobb salad.
I know. It's pretty funny.
You know, the guy's like, "Oh, I'll eat your bacon." He's like, "Ah, go fuck yourself." But then the line about, "I want to masturbate you in the bathroom."
Yeah. It was just like, I want to masturbate you in the bathroom. And the guy's like, what? But she's like, when that happens, like, they got this whole, like, it's so sterile, right? Like, she has this whole, like, fucking, like,
the suction contraption.
Yeah, contraption. And she has, like, gloves on or whatever. And she's just, like, totally, you know, like, there's nothing sexual about it to her at all. Yeah. It's a donation, you know?
Definitely an angry HK.
Yeah, how's that for a fucking that's a what, a DBHK, dirty bathroom? Oh no, HJ, I mean dirty DBHJ. Oh Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, it was.
Don't look at me or I'll stop.
At the end, she just like attaches this like suction hose
to
his dick.
He's like, she's like, don't worry, it's a sex toy.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you, dudes don't give a fuck.
But you know what? Like, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, but it's fucked up because she. I mean, well, it's not really spoiler. It's sort of in the beginning, but like she basically inseminates herself, and I'm not quite sure how she does it, but it's essentially like, call it an abortion, call it a miscarriage. It's whatever it is, what's the word I'm looking for?
She's using the raw material to.
Well, yeah, she forces it to happen after like 10 weeks, and then the way it happens was like, I didn't understand what was going on at first. She placed like a tray underneath the in the bathroom or in the toilet, and then you later see her scrubbing it out and there's blood, and then later you see like the little fucking like, I don't even know what like, what do you call it? Like, it's not really a baby, but it's like the
embryo.
The embryo. Yeah, sure.
And shame on me for being a fucking.
It's not a fetus in the
no
strictest, or maybe it is. I don't know, but maybe an embryo or whatever it is. It's in the pan and it's going down the toilet.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, that was like, and that was like one of the only dudes in the whole movie, right? Like, there's a few there's like that. There's like well, I guess there's a few, but yeah, that's you know, for the main characters, you know, that dude had like some of the most screen time. But I mean, like you said, I mean, that's dudes. That's a, you know, like, I want to masturbate you in the bathroom. Meet me there now. You know?
Yeah.
9 out of 10 dudes.
Implications of why you would, like, you know what I mean? Like, into a napkin's one thing, into a device, and then you get pricked. Like, you don't think for a minute something's weird about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's a really, when you think about the way that she's creating life, I guess, and sustaining life, it's really fucked up. But it's actually like, if that, you know, like in the grand scheme of things, in this, if that works, like, that's fucking brilliant, right? Like, in a way where she can do her experiments without like harming other people.
But then I think what's weird at this point is like, you're along for like the drama portion of it, and you're like, well, where's the horror stuff aside from self-inflicted? Because you're like, once it realized, oh, this is your gimmick, this has to take a toll on a body at some point.
Oh, sure. After several times, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right?
which would also explain her gaunt appearance and her frail look. I mean, it just wiped. I would imagine it would just wipe you the hell out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that it would take forever, if maybe never, for your body to recover. Because she's still a relatively young woman. I would say, what, maybe in her mid-30s?
That's what I would guess.
Maybe late 30s?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say 30s
That would be
to
my
40s.
guess.
You know, she made a point to say that she had this idea in her since she was like 6 or 7. You know.
Oh, right.
So
Yeah.
So she spent her whole life, you know, doing this. But right, like even under the way it should be, controlled medically standards, it takes a lot out of a body. But in a New York apartment, it's gonna leave scars, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's
not only physically, but psychologically, mentally.
Yeah.
Probably which is also probably, you know, why she's as, you know, mentally messed up as she is.
The thing is about her too is like we never really see she's just almost like devoid of emotion the whole time. And that's why like the sociopath thing really rings true, because you really have to be kind of fucked up to be okay with all of this, right? Like, you know, from you know, aborting a fetus to, you know, with to continue to do it, like she did it like 3 times prior, I think, or something, or maybe more than that. I don't know if they said.
We know because it took the test subject. Was it Muriel, the pig?
The pig, yeah.
And then the daughter. Once we learned that, but you figure, but she's also come from a scientific point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Well, probably with a hint of emotionality as well, and same thing with Cecilia's role of just having that kind of hope, having that, could this be a way? You know, and lean into it. Like even that scene when there were the candles and cards outside her door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and this is early on in the film, but there was like a tribute put out to her, like you would if there was a car crash and you would put stuff out, or you know, John Lennon's or Kurt Cobain's house, people would leave stuff, and she made a point to trash it and put it in the incinerator. Which she's like, no, she's not dead.
Yeah.
She's alive.
Yeah. Obviously, she couldn't tell anyone, but
right.
But as far as she was concerned, you know.
But still, you're looking at all this real life emotionality. Where's the horror gonna come in?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, and that's kind of what I think made this interesting, because you never really knew. There was enough things going on where it could come from, like, you know, definitely one direction, but, you know, maybe 1 or 2 others or 3 others, you know, like, so you didn't quite know where it was going to come from, but you knew it was going to come somewhere. And that's what I thought was really interesting, because all of these people are, they have reasons for doing what they're doing, but the reasons aren't like, you know, it wouldn't hold up in court, as we talked about, you know, like, it's not like, oh yeah, I get it. Nah, don't worry about it. You're cool. You know, they're doing what they're doing is wrong, but it's interesting to think about, like, where could it have come from? Like, what could happen to these people? And so that's what that was, I think, one of the most interesting aspects of this is, where is that going to come from? Because you know it's coming, you know?
Right. And also too, there's the talk about ethical things.
Yeah.
They were organ donors.
Right. So, okay, cool.
That's okay. Like there's the whole, you know, at least not running joke, but like, there's a rumor that if you're an organ donor, they wouldn't try to save you if you were sick. That's
right.
not the case.
Yeah.
but that was a misconception that, and there was a time in my life where I thought maybe that was true. It's not true, but you hear these things. But they mentioned ethics, science, and love aren't always,
Yeah, they're not mutually exclusive, or they are mutually exclusive, I guess. I think there are things that, and they were doing it for different reasons, right? Like one was, like you said, one was doing it for science, one was doing it for love. And, so yeah, it's one of those, and then I guess the other would be, nature, right? I guess,
right.
If we're talking about, Leela, because we don't really know her motivation or what's even going on with her, So I think it's really interesting that we have these sort of different viewpoints, and we don't know which is the more dangerous. And the film, I feel, didn't really highlight and say this is the most dangerous, or this one is, or this one,
right.
Because you weren't sure if maybe Muriel the pig was gonna, maybe Muriel was gonna do something, or maybe maybe Lila or Celie or Rose, sort of all these different things happening. And then you start factoring in, then you have that other character, Emily Parker, the one who, the pregnant woman who, then that sort of gets involved a little bit, and then it just adds another sort of wrinkle to it. But I thought it was pretty, overall, very interesting the way the story was unfolding. I think in some ways I do wish there was maybe a little bit more horror to it, because I think there was the potential for it. But I also, on the other hand, don't know if that would have served the story as well.
I mean, there were definitely moments where you could see where other films or other direction would have had the horror element. Especially good.
Yeah, it's very easy to add that horror element to a movie like this. But what they did here is they took that horror element. They didn't take it out. They just cradled it back a bit. And it's a slow burn film. You're not going to be hit with blood everywhere and jump scares and things of that nature. It's not that kind of movie. Yeah, there's some blood involved here, and a lot of it apparently makes the guys more queasy than the girls. But I think that has a lot to do with the woman's point of view when it comes to this movie, whether it be Rose or Celia, because it's a woman's issue with it, it's completely encased in a woman's world, what's going on here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's a total slow burn flick, and I like the fact that they didn't try to horror it up the way you would think that they would, because I see bits of Reanimator in here as well, not to mention Frankenstein, but Reanimator as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
And and it's and it could be very easily, you could see that, you could see the inspiration of Frankenstein and Reanimator in this film, and both of them are horror films. But they didn't go that route. They dialed it back a bit. And for that, because I think the movie works so much better, because if the science is grounded in a certain reality, then I would think that the results of what they're accomplishing here would also be equally realistic. So while there is horror involved, it's not full-blown horror. It's dialed back.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it makes so much more sense when you do it that way.
Yeah.
Because it feels more real. It feels more authentic. It feels genuine. And I love that they did that in this film.
Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we head to the verdict? Because there's certainly some stuff that, as we head to the end, that happens in the end of the movie that, obviously we want to kind of allow people to see it and not spoil stuff. But I guess before we do that, I just thought, what did you guys think of the ending? Was it a satisfactory ending? I guess I'll just kick it off and say that I thought it was, and I actually, not that the ending super surprised me, but I felt that was not one of the like top one or two directions I thought it was going to go. And I like that. I like that it went in a different direction, because this could have gone in several different directions. And it was really interesting to see how some characters reacted to events that took place near the end, and the sort of like lengths that they will go to kind of preserve what's important to them, I guess. And there was one line, it was when Rose was talking to what seemed like her boss, and her boss was kind of like aligning with her and talking about like, like I understand, personal shit, trying to have a baby, but get your shit together, or this is the last time we're having the conversation, like basically, in that conversation, she said something that was interesting. I'm going to have to paraphrase. I don't remember exactly, but it was like, she asked her, cause they were talked about having children, and they both weren't able to have children anymore. And so the boss basically said, she's like, oh, well, what did you do when you couldn't have children anymore? She's like, oh, well, like I did this, and this, and like I found other things. And she's like, life isn't, like having one priority. It's basically like having one priority isn't the way to live life, or something like that. It's like you have to be able to sort of shift your priorities when necessary, I guess. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and it both of these people, in the case of Celie and Rose, are very sort of one-dimensional in what they want during this film, and it makes a lot of sense. I'm not saying that as a bad thing that they're one-dimensional, but it makes a lot of sense. But I thought that was almost like, you know what, maybe you should think about some other things. Life isn't just about this one thing that you're passionate about, or that dominates your thinking,
But then she counters that with like, oh, and you find that rewarding.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, and then I read, I garden.
Yeah, I do all this boring, mundane shit.
Yeah, like, oh, really? Like, and it's funny. It's almost like two, or if you count the boss, 3 positions on motherhood.
True, yeah.
One was from more of a nurturing thing, and one, once again, it's a point of view that I can only try to understand.
Right, and and you're right. I mean, that's all we can do with this. But I think that it's still interesting to kind of put ourselves in that perspective, even though we can't ever know what it's like to be a mother. We all have been fathers to, like to animals, or in some cases, Raven Shadow. I don't want to speak for you. I don't want to, but you were one of the caregivers for children for a little while.
Right. From diapers to drinking age. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like you don't have a stake in the game, so to speak, but it's a different perspective, a different way. So, yeah, that's all we can give is our perspective on that. And it's one of the, I would always love to get perspective from other avenues. And so if people have seen this and feel differently or similarly, that's something I'd love to sort of hear about and hear your thoughts and, what you think about it. So What about the MZ? Since I guess we're mostly a horror podcast, but what did you think of the gore and the blood in this? Because there was a lot of cutting open of animals and people and stuff. So what did you think?
Yeah, it's weird. You could see all sorts of weird shit in a horror film, and we're unfazed by it all. But for some reason, the violence and the gore in this film is beyond that. I mean, we see a C-section going on.
Mm-hmm.
We see, evisceration. Bodies just flayed open. Very well done too.
Yeah,
very well
it looked
done.
legit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if the little babies, listen to me.
Little babies.
Little baby.
If the babies that are taken out in C-section, I don't know if those are real babies or not. They looked awfully real to me, but
no, they really didn't get people who are pregnant. They didn't suffer for their art.
That might be it. But I thought the gore was really well done here, especially the C-section scenes. Those were pretty hard.
Yeah. Those
are pretty hard.
Also the some of the animal scenes, like especially I won't say like which animals, but there's a couple animal scenes, and then one of the scenes, what was it? I'm trying to remember.
Or the hand.
Oh, yeah, the hand, yes, but it was also one of the first opening scenes when it was the opening scene when it's a childbirth. There's a childbirth.
Yeah.
That was like, okay, I see what we're getting into here.
And I popped for the callback they did.
Oh, well, yeah. I did, yeah.
Where I was like, oh.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting way of doing it, and it's not necessarily a spoiler to say, but I think we'll kind of keep it. But yeah, there's a callback later in the film that you will have seen something earlier. But yeah, I think we should head to the verdict on this one because we've done a pretty good amount of discussion, and I think we're ready to let everyone know what we thought.
Trick or treat, baby.
I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
What happened to Buster? All right, Buster got fucked up, I guess, this time. So, let's do the verdict and let folks know what we thought, whether it was a trick or treat, and any final thoughts we may have. MZ, start with you.
Well, first of all, let me just say that I think the ending I thought was very good, very reminiscent of a film like Shadow of the Vampire.
No.
Good pull.
Think about how Shadow of the Vampire ended. It ended just like this, and I loved that. That was
yeah
the only ending that I'll accept because it was just perfect for this style of film.
I agree with that. Yeah.
The acting is really good, and the one who played Rose just fucking killed it. She was fantastic.
Yeah, Marin Ireland.
Marin Ireland, great performance, fantastic. I can't heap enough praise upon this. She played it perfectly. Of a sociopath whose one goal is to make the dead come back to life, and she just embodied all the physical, emotional, psychological, mental torture that she's gone through to achieve that goal, on top of her own physical setbacks of trying to be a mother herself. So
yeah, at the risk of her physical well-being too.
Yeah. So perfect. Celia was equally good. Just fantastic performance. Again, I feel that the story suffers a little bit by by Celia just allowing this to happen without really any blowback at all. But that's just my opinion on that. Other than that, this is a very, very well-made movie. It just a lot of things going for it. Slow burn film, plenty of violence. And again, the acting is great. The story is good, very good. And you just see the anguish of these two women, both for the same goal, but for completely different reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you can appreciate that you can see it from two different angles. Just a great, outstanding freshman effort from this director. I mean, if this is what we're getting from her now, I can't wait to see what her next picture is going to be. This is a big treat for me.
All right. Raven Shadow.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not saying that I enjoyed this movie.
But I enjoyed.
You mean it wasn't fun? It wasn't a laugh riot?
Yeah, no, it wasn't, hardy har. But I think it was a very good movie. And I applaud the use of restraint. I'm glad it didn't go into obvious tropes that other films, Right, Wrong, or Indifferent, may go down. I thought the waiting for the horror to come, you really get steeped in human emotion. And that's could be scarier than supernatural machinations. When the horror did come, it was from an unlikely source that was not obvious. So this was a really good movie. I watched it last night with Marion, and we were both really, really into it. So it's not get the boys over, get some pizza pie, and fucking watch Birth and Rebirth. But
not a good time movie.
Yeah, no. It's like, bro, gonna watch Rebirth and Rebirth.
You guys want to get some beers and some Chinese food? We'll watch Birth Rebirth. Fucking blast.
Be awesome, dude.
Is this yeah? Is this a double feature with Requiem for a Dream, Raven Shadow?
Yeah, dude.
Sleepover, my place, 8:00.
My place. We're gonna play the lava game, make tents, maybe watch Requiem for a Dream and Birth and Rebirth, bro.
Then we're gonna have a big old pillow fight.
Yeah.
We're all just gonna
with blood bags.
Yeah. We're gonna get some bloodletting.
We'll do some surgery on each other. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'll open you up. You open me up. Bro. Hey.
Yeah. Why limit ourselves, dude?
Yeah.
With that said, this was a treat. It was a treat, but I'm probably not going to watch it again. But it was really good. Yeah.
All right. For me, also a treat. I think this was a really interesting film. I could see myself watching this again. I'm not in like Jones and like, oh my God, I want to see all the fucking pain and and sacrifice.
Yeah, right.
But knowing how the story unfolds now, I think it would be good to go back and watch, and you can kind of like key in on certain decisions and okay, like I get this, or that makes sense, or whatever. So yeah, it's a treat. It's a really well made film, and I too am looking forward to seeing whatever Laura Moss directs after this. This has been on a lot of best of lists for horror, and even just I've seen it on best of lists of films of the year. Not just horror. So I'm all in. I'm curious to see what Laura is going to do next. But yeah, treat for me.
I saw it twice.
Oh, so you did watch it again? Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I know you watched it like a week or two ago, right?
Yeah. Per the Zombie Girls recommendation.
Yep.
So
yeah, and I remember Rachel had mentioned it to us last time she was on the show, I think, or it came up. I don't know if she recommended it or if we were talking about their episodes or something, but yeah. Were you gonna say something else, Raven Shadow?
Treat.
You already said that. All right, treats all around. So we're gonna move on to our next film, and that film is Attachment. Let me pull up the info about this. Attachment, also from 2023, although I think it hit some festivals in 2022. It is 1 hour, 45 minutes, and it is written and directed by Gabriel Bayer Gislason. I am probably butchering the name, so my apologies. And the film stars Ellie Kendrick as Leia, and Josephine Park as Maya, and Sophie Grebel as Chana, the mother, and also David Densick as Lev, the was he the cousin or brother of? I think it was a cousin.
Cousin, I believe. Yeah.
And the synopsis of this film: Maya, a Danish has-been actress, falls in love with Leia, a Jewish academic from London. Leia suffers a mysterious seizure, and Maya returns with her to London. There, she meets Leia's mother, Chana, a woman who could hold dark secrets. All right, so this flick here is it's a mix. It was made in Denmark, but it has a mix of English and Danish, and I guess even some Yiddish technically. But there's not a lot of Yiddish and in Hebrew in this, but it does have some. You definitely need subtitles for some of this, and this is an interesting one. I do want to talk about a lot of the elements of this without giving sort of the ending away. I think it's fair. We can talk about some of the Jewish mysticism. They talk about the Kabbalah. They mentioned Dybbuk's, and we've seen some other films that deal with Jewish mysticism. And I always feel like it's like, even actually, I forget the name of that one where the guy's like sitting Shiva when he's like watching the wake. It wasn't the wake. Fuck, I forget the name of them. MZ, I think you're muted.
Oh, yes, that movie that we reviewed a few years back. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Was it The Long Night? I don't think that was it. No, it wasn't that. Shit.
But I thought of that too.
Yeah, I'll look it up because I have it on our list. But
The Longest Yard.
No, that's definitely not it. Let me see. But
yeah, guy who's keeping guard of a casket.
Yeah, because they even mentioned like golems. There's a lot of like just kind of different folklore that they bring up in this. Yep. Oh, I remember this. So this is one that we did that was just okay. Was The Offering? That was one we did, I think, last year.
No, it wasn't last year because I remember reviewing this as well.
Okay, so The Offering. It was 2022.
Really?
Yeah.
Reviewing
The Vigil. The Vigil is the one I'm looking for.
Vigil. That's what it was. Yes, The Vigil.
That one was really good. So there's been a pretty good amount. I think one of the strongest ones. I mean, we talked about this years ago. I want to say like 7 or 8 years ago was Demon. That one was fucking awesome. Yeah. That was like the Polish wedding, but there was like a Dybbuk, and that movie was fucking outstanding. So we have a history of talking about films that deal with some similar similar topics and ideas. And so in this one kind of approaches it from a different angle. And we have, I would say it's a LGBTQ sort of focus where we have a couple in Leia and Maya, and I liked their relationship and how they met. It just seemed very sort of organic and really cool, you know?
That's something this movie did. I mean, not being sleazy at all. Like their meeting and hookup, you know, kind of by accident. They worked it was in a bookstore.
Yeah.
She had like an elf gimmick, and they ended up meeting. But then when they went to go have, came over to her apartment, and even what this movie did in the first 15 minutes was it really established these two characters' connection. You know, it was done in subtle ways. It was done the way they're like, you could see them sitting at the table, but the way their knees and their feet got closer.
I love
and
that.
Closer.
Yeah.
Which is a natural progression of people who are into each other.
Yeah.
You know, and it really came across that moment of being so into somebody. You know, I know it from a cis perspective, but it's gonna be the same, right? When you're into somebody,
yeah,
and you're just totally into them, like that fucking Pam and Tom Elite fucking tape, you know?
Jesus Christ!
But I mean that
so
it's
good.
them. It's people being so into each other, you know, and you felt that these two characters were into each other.
Yeah.
When one had to go leave the country, and they were like, "I'm not taking that flight. I'm gonna roll the dice and see what happens." You know, and that's special. That emotionality came across to the viewer.
Yeah, for sure. So let's jump into some first impressions, and then I have some other stuff I wanted to bring up. But first impression of this, for me, I think the thing I already sort of like hinted at it, but this felt very organic. Like this felt like a legit relationship, and I felt like the other thing I really liked about it too is it wasn't like, yes, there was a lesbian couple, but it wasn't a lesbian couple for the sole purpose of having them sort of get down together, you know?
Right. It wasn't nothing but titillation.
Right.
It wasn't titillating.
And I thought the way they filmed any of the romantic scenes or like intimate scenes was really tastefully done. I actually like commend that, because it's just not, for the sake of the story, it's not necessary. You know, you don't need, you know. So I really commend the way that it was done here. It was treated with respect and care, and it wasn't gratuitous, you know. So I really appreciated that. And, you know, I feel that actually set a good tone for the story too, because and let me back up and say that this film, so the name of this film, I feel like has several different meanings, which I actually like. And attachment to each other, like there's this new couple, a young couple. There's a attachment with Leia and her mom, Chana. There's like, you know, some attachment stuff there. There's clearly some other attachment stuff going on with Leia that maybe we'll get into a little bit later. And also it's talked about that Maya has sort of codependency issues, you know, about how she just really wants to make Leia happy. Like she kind of lives to, you know, for relationships, and she, you know, she has her own issues with her, you know, with her parents dying and stuff like that. So, you know, I thought all the elements were really made a lot of sense here. And then, you know, we get into some of, I like when we get into mysticism, especially in this case, Jewish mysticism. I don't talk about this a lot, but I'm like, one of my parents is Jewish, and I'm not religious, not very religious at all. And I did grow up with it until like second grade. And then it was like, yeah, I don't really feel like going to temple anymore. And then it was like, okay, you don't have to go. And that was it, you know? And so, but for me, it's also part of your heritage. It's your ancestry. It's not just a religion, you know, it's also, like if Raven Shadow's Italian, you know, like it's part of your heritage. Like, you know, like Ashkenazi Jew is part of mine, you know? So it's not just a religion. It's also part of your it's a nationality, you know? So that's something that I can always sort of relate to. But I don't know, like I said, I don't know a lot. I did go to temple for a few years when I was younger, but I don't remember a lot about it. And they definitely didn't touch on the Kabbalah.
Right.
Tell you
And
that much.
I stopped going to catechism. You know, it was never confirmed. Because Serpento was on G.I. Joe, and I'm like, I can't fucking miss this.
Oh shit. That's funny.
There was no DVR back in the 80s.
No, you couldn't miss that shit, man. So yeah.
Oh, what the hell?
But yeah, I thought that there was a lot of elements that really worked for this, and I actually really like the ending too. It seemed like a very natural way to have it end. It wasn't too surprising, and I actually thought it might go in a different direction for a little while. But I thought that it, in the grand scheme of the story, it made a lot of sense as to how it ended. So, yeah, for me, yeah, that's sort of like, I guess my first impression was like, I liked a lot of the elements of this. It touched on a lot of things that I enjoy. And I feel like the relationship was really treated with care and respect, which really helped the story along. And, you know, because really a lot of this hinges on their relationship, you know, and it has to be believable. And for me, it was. So that's all I'll say about the first impression. So when you guys can go.
I wasn't sure what to make of this at first. You know, I'm like, you know, of course the relationship between the girls is natural, and it, like you said, yeah, I'm not even going to add to it because the way you put it was perfect, because it's true. It wasn't salacious, it wasn't gratuitous, it wasn't, just sitting at home, that's
right. It wasn't Cinemax. It wasn't,
exactly.
It wasn't
exactly. It wasn't, party time at the old town tonight sort of thing. It was organic. It was natural. It was believable. It was real, and they treated it with care, just like Wolfie said. So, that's that. And I'm going to sound like a broken record here, yeah, but I also agree with the title situation, because I was thinking the exact same thing. I mean, there's so many different routes that this could go down, and it goes down all of them, really. So a title for a movie, the title of Attachment, is perfect for a movie like this. It plays the wide gamut of areas that can cover. I don't know anything about the Jewish mysticism, but the one thing I do appreciate, and I can say this, and not the Vigil, because the problem I had with the Vigil was that it made you feel like you should already know something about Jewish religion and Jewish mysticism and Jewish beliefs and rites and things like that. Here, you're actually learning something from that.
Yeah.
And that I really, really appreciated, because that helped me, figure this out just a little bit more, just a little bit easier. Because otherwise, if they treated it like, yeah, you should know what all this stuff is, I'm not going to have a clue what this stuff is. So I appreciate that they explained it to you. That, for my money, I'm looking at this movie through, I think, was it Leah? Is that the blonde?
No, Maya.
Maya.
Yeah.
Through Maya's eyes.
Yeah, and that's why it works well. Is she's an outsider to Judaism and the Jewish culture, and this is more of an Orthodox sort of community too. So they look at people, outsiders, like, you don't belong here. Like, they talk about that, and it's kind of interesting. But yeah, I think they do a good job of showing of her being the audience's eyes. I think they did a really good job of that.
So basically, we are as if I'm using the word properly, the goy.
Yeah.
Are we the goy?
Yeah,
I'm a goy.
Sort of like, I mean, if I understand it correctly, it's sort of like what's the word in shit, I was trying to think of Japanese culture. There's gaijin, yeah. And then
outsiders.
And also in like Spanish it's gringo, right?
Yeah. So in Jewish,
goy, yeah, I just looked it up just to be sure. Goy is a term used by Jewish people for non-Jewish people.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Hey, congratulations. It's a goy. So.
That's pretty good.
Is that what they say down south?
So I really appreciate that aspect, is that they treated the audience like that. It wasn't, and it wasn't done in a way that it was demeaning or tough.
No.
You're actually genuinely, at least I felt like I was learning something. So there's that.
All right, how about you, Raven Channel? First impression.
I'm losing it over the Montezero's business. But no, I think Maya was a good entry level character. Like, she, like I say, who's the brunette?
Leia.
All right. Okay. Fair. So Leia threw caution to the wind, didn't take her plane ticket. Maya threw caution to the wind and went to go see her family, which is always a heavy thing, let alone in the first couple of days of being intimate or having a relationship. I really liked the bookshop guy, who we later learned has other ties to the family. I loved his character.
Lev.
Lev. Oh, Lev.
Yeah.
I liked him kind of coming to it for the mystical aspect. He's like, oh, where'd you get that necklace? And it was,
sorry to interrupt, Raven Shadow, but since you're a big fan, would you consider yourself a lesbian?
I'm willing to learn. That's for sure.
So yeah, he sees the amulet. You were talking about that.
Yeah. And now, so what I liked about what they did in a short amount of time, I think that once they got to Leia's family, they did not make complete usage of their time, where I think in some ways it kind of grinded to a halt a little bit. Now, I liked how some of the mystery did unfurl, and you met the mother and stuff, but there were some things that I think, I'm not sure the runtime did a service to this movie or the story.
So hour 45 was too much?
Yeah.
Too much fat?
I just think like a nice 90, I'm not sure how numbers work, but maybe 97 minutes is less than that, right?
An hour 45.
Yes, it is less.
Okay.
You know what? But you know what? I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
Thank you.
Because when you realize where this movie is going, you learn pretty quick of the characters. Okay.
Yep.
They're not two-dimensional. They're not two-dimensional characters, but they're characters that you can easily understand who's who and what they're all about. Okay. And early on, you can tell. With that paired up with what this movie is actually becoming. You've seen this kind of thing before.
Mm.
So I think you could knock out a good 10 minutes out of this movie, honestly. I'm not going to disagree with you. I think you could knock out some character development in this film, because I don't think you need that much of it. Because the performances here are so strong, particularly by the one who plays Shana, is that her name?
Chana.
Yes. She's very easily understandable as to the kind of person that she is. That you don't need to have that much time spent on her, or anybody else for that matter, because everyone else is so, they're so, you know exactly who each person is. And it doesn't take much time. So just to add that added character development really wasn't necessary. I think you could have knocked out an extra 10 minutes out of this movie. At most 10 minutes.
15 or 20, but fair.
No, I wouldn't go 15 or 20. 10 minutes is tops.
I won't necessarily disagree. When I watched it though, I didn't really think about that. But I mean, in hindsight, I can think about it. Yeah, there might be some places you could cut back a little bit, but I don't know. Like, I think that a lot of this was purposeful. There would be some stuff maybe with the mom that could get cut a little bit, but overall, the one thing and so, we give our first impressions, so we'll dive in a little bit deeper here. And one of the things I loved about this was the uncertainty about what the mom was protecting or what her purpose was.
Right.
I thought that was really interesting because Leia described her as being weird and like kind of overprotective. But we just thought, and, we thought that maybe Chana was trying to hurt Leia. Like there's some stuff when Maya goes down into the mom's apartment and sees some shit, it's like, oh, what the fuck is all this, And there was also some interesting aspects of when the mom would go around to like different stores and to meet with different people, and they'd all give her things. Like it looked like she was shopping, but it looked like she was getting offerings, right? Like, so that was interesting. And I was like, okay, well, what's the deal here? So they did a good job of sort of like masking what was up with the mom,
Oh, for sure. And I thought the mom was good.
She was awesome. I thought she was great. I loved,
yeah.
It almost reminded me of like, what's Mommy Dearest? Like a little, like not to those levels. Joan Crawford, yeah. Not to those levels that, Joan Crawford did in that, but a little bit of that,
Right. And I liked how Maya was like, oh, they kind of like made comments about, well, obviously you and you guys, you folks are really your friends. You're different kinds of friends who only have one bedroom in the spare room.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, I don't care about that. And neither does the mom. Like her problems with you aren't because you guys are together.
Right.
Where it even subverted Maya. Like, okay, maybe you don't like me because of same-sex dating your daughter.
Right. And
but she was accustomed to that by that time. She's just like when she first meets, like when they first meet downstairs. You could see the mom. She grabs the crutches away from Leah and just like shoves them at
Maya. Yeah.
And without even saying hello to her, and then there was that slight little insult saying how she's not important and things like that. Oh, you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
But at that point, you knew that there was going to be some strong tension between Maya and the mom.
Yeah.
And it was really getting uncomfortable, at certain points where Maya's just doing everything she can to be this, gracious guest and be nice.
She loves
do whatever
she loves Leia, so she wants the approval of her mom,
Right. And the mom is just not having any of it.
Nope. Just
making her feel worthless and useless and like nothing. Yeah, you better go for a walk. That sort of thing. It's like, oh, Jesus.
I really liked. So, without giving too much away, a scene at the dinner scene towards the end of when they were staying in London, I thought was really like powerful and wow. Sort of when they have a falling out.
Allergy.
Yeah, they have a falling out, and then Maya comes back later. I couldn't help but think of you, MZ, because she has a peanut allergy. So
it's not fun. I could tell you.
Yeah, so I can imagine you watching that must have been a little tough, a little close to home.
Yeah. I certainly sympathized with Maya, definitely.
And it's funny, like, and shame on me, like I get it, or I can try to get it, but like there are plenty of things that I don't like to eat because I'm, can be pissy sometimes.
Pissy.
Like, yeah,
you mean you don't like to branch out? You just like what you like?
No, but I've been eating salad. It's
what?
Weird. Yeah.
I don't believe
you.
that.
What is some shit?
It's probably like drizzled in like cheese and dressing and
Italian dressing.
No, I don't like dressing either, though. I had some grilled chicken left over from Freshway.
How much more weight do you think you're going to lose?
Yeah, if anyone shouldn't be eating salad, you. Well, actually, no. You know what? I'm wrong. Salad, it's good. It's helpful for the insides, and you need that roughage and that fiber, Raven Shadow. So.
Yeah, no, thank you. I got an Oreo fucking birthday cake upstairs. I'll checks and balances.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is, like, to inadvertently take a bite of something and it may kill you. That sucks. I'm sorry that happens to you.
Well, it's you learn. You do your best to try to avoid it, and
except when you
sometimes
get drunk and eat chicken.
No, I never got sick from that. I never got sick from that. Before I did, not anymore. As a matter of fact, just early, I don't sidetrack, but I mean, early this year, I was at this new place, this new place that we were finding.
The pizza place where you had the whoopie pie.
Oh, okay. So I did tell you about the whoopie pie incident. Yeah.
Yeah, you got mozzarella sticks and a grinder, and you got a whoopie pie.
Yeah. How much I paid? How much I paid for that? With almost my life. Because of the goddamn whoopie pie.
The whoopie pie incident.
It had peanut butter and it wasn't even labeled. Bad. Never go there again.
Look out for those whoopie pies. Yeah, look out for those whoopie pies.
Get a salad.
The other thing I really dug about this is, so yes, we do learn from Lev that there is like all these potential things, like he's talking about golems, he's talking about Dybbuk, he's talking about, so it almost in a way created these different potential outcomes. So, because they wouldn't bring it up for nothing, right? Like, it's like, oh, like what's going on here? And then they talk about her father who passed away. So I'm thinking, like, maybe there's something with the dad. And then they keep showing a scene where it looks like the mother is holding someone else. They show it from behind, where they show the mother like comforting like someone, and it's like, okay, what's going on here? Like, is there like a that's why I thought, like, is there a golem like in her apartment? Is that why she won't let anyone in her apartment? So yeah, they did a really good job of masking sort of what's going on. And that was one thing I really liked about this is that you don't quite know where it's going to go. And so early on, we have Leia decides to stay with Maya and not go back home, even though her mom keeps calling her, and she just keeps ignoring it. She just wants to. She's sort of living in this, like, I guess for her, it'd be like a utopia of like, oh, I'm with someone who loves me and respects me and wants to be with me, and like I don't have to worry about a crazy mother, all this stuff, and so of course she's ignoring the mom, and then she has these kind of interesting things that happen where she was sleepwalking. That was like sort of like the first thing where she's sort of sleepwalking, where she's looking at herself in a mirror and sort of like, I think she was making, like, if I remember correctly, like clicking, like little noises or something. And so I was like, okay, well, something's a little weird going on here. But then it turns out that, maybe she's just sleepwalking. And then soon after, she ends up having a seizure. And, oh, man, like, I don't know why seeing people have seizures like that, even in film, if it's acted, that it's so rough. It's so rough because it's scary, first of all. And then you just don't know. I mean, I guess you can kind of like ascertain what's going on, but it's kind of like, is this going to be really bad? Do I need to help? Like, what can I do? It's like a helpless feeling. And so when I see it on screen, I'm just kind of like, it's really uncomfortable, and I'm sure believe me, I'm sure it's way more uncomfortable for the people having it, that have to deal with it in real life. But for me, I'm just like, oh my God, it's so horrible. And so what happens from it is she ends up breaking her, like, I don't know, hurting her knee. I don't know if she broke it or separated it or, fucked up her kneecap, but from then on out, she's on crutches and now she has to go back home to heal up, So it's, yeah, I mean, that's kind of a scary thing. I can't remember if either of you guys did either of you guys see that Al Snow Netflix series, Wrestlers?
I've not seen it yet. I want to.
Okay.
I'm in the middle of it now.
Okay. I don't know if you did. It's not really a spoiler, MC, but did you see anything about a seizure in what you saw?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
During that meeting.
Yeah. So one of the owners of OVW, he ends up having a seizure. Like they're filming a documentary series and he's having a seizure while they're filming, and they showed it. They did kind of like pull the camera back and not necessarily show it, but like everyone was like, "Oh my fucking God, what do we do? What do we do?"
Right.
It was fucking scary. So I mean, that's just a little sidetrack, but it made me think about that. It's yeah. So she has this thing. It does end up making more sense later on. Like we understand a little bit more about it. But it's still one of those things that's like, like really unfortunate. And she hadn't had one since she was a child, she said, So, and once again, these are all like not necessarily clues to what's going on, but does come back later in terms of like, oh, okay, putting the pieces together, I can see this, I can see that. Okay, I got it. So yeah, I thought they did a really good job with this of like having it. You don't quite know what's going on. It's almost like a mystery in a sense. And I don't understand, like on IMDb, this is listed as comedy, horror, romance. There is zero comedy in this. I mean, maybe like, I mean, it must just be mismarked or something. But if there's any comedy, it's just like situational, like someone made a funny little comment, but it's not even like on purpose. It's just in the flow of their relationship, So There's get that.
Funny about this picture.
No, I mean, I have an account where I can edit on IMDb, so I might see if I can remove that because it's like, what the fuck?
But it's sci-fi western instead.
Sci-fi western. But yeah, I think that's the thing I really liked about this movie is that you don't quite know where it's going. And kind of similar to Birth, Rebirth, we knew that there was horror elements. we knew there was going to be some horror that reared its head again. We just didn't know what form it would take. And in this, it was kind of similar. Like, I didn't quite know what the horror was. You know, we just knew that there was something weird about the mom, and Lev, the cousin, is sort of letting Maya in on some stuff that's going on with the family, but not enough to give her any sense of what's going on. Just that there was like a scroll, like a rolled up piece of paper that had like all like the names of God, and that's supposed to be protective. And so she brought that to show Lev, and Lev's like, "Oh, you should put that back," And there was you could see there was the thing with the bowl, the fertility bowl or something like that was under the cabinet. Right. And then there was salt. You could see salt spread around like the edges. And the other thing I loved, actually, the reveal, I won't say what it is, but there's a reveal later that you see in the mom's house. I guess in a sense, it's like almost like the furniture arrangement. Like,
right.
Yeah.
I thought I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, that was a really cool thing. And go ahead.
I was just gonna say the part that tipped it off for me was salt.
Sure. I mean, yeah,
that completely tipped me off.
So did you, at that point, you were like, I know what's going on here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew exactly what was going on.
So it's one of those things that, yes, if you've seen enough of these types of films, you might sort of understand that. But as far as I was concerned, I thought that they didn't know what was going on, and they were just trying to protect the house, So, yeah, but there was like, I like the stuff about the candles, just mysteriously lighting themselves at night. And so there was just a lot of weird happenstance going on that you didn't quite know how it fit in and what was going to happen. And the mom being really overbearing and like even fucking like just waltzing on in any old time, especially when, they're kind of getting down a little bit, like.
Yeah, a little bit of intimacy, time for your massage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. At least Raven Shadow, at least you got a knock on the door.
See?
Knock it off. Yeah. There you go.
Well, it's just like a phone call on my private line.
Well, yeah. On your private line. Was it, did you have one of those, was it Sports Illustrated, like football phones? Did you have like a Garfield phone? Was it like a clear phone? What did you have?
I did have a Batman bat symbol Converse shoe phone for a while.
Of course.
When I had my waterbed.
Waterbed. That, you know how I know you're a fucking only child? Fucking waterbed. Fucking waterbed. That's probably why your back's all fucked up now.
It's probably fair.
Like, just look to that. When next time you're fucking outside shoveling or snow blowing or whatever the fuck you're doing, like, and your back's fucked up, blame that fucking waterbed.
It could be 10 years to sleep on a waterbed. You're probably right. I'm like, what did I fucking do? I didn't play sports.
Your back, your back probably is like fucking crooked and going sideways and all kinds of shit.
Yeah, I should be fucking 6'10" right now. What the fuck?
Your back is like spiraled up inside yourself.
I got fucking gnarls and spikes on it. It's not good.
That's funny. That's funny.
Let me see here. I'm just looking. Seems like a little bit of a slow night on the chat, so I haven't missed anything recently. But let's start to wrap this up. Do you guys have anything else you want to mention about this before we head to the verdict? Oh, you know what? Like, this is the other fucking movie. I forgot to say, I loved the score in Rebirth. It was so different.
Oh, it was creepy. Mary was getting nervous.
Very creepy. And alternatively, I was thinking I actually really liked the score in this too. It was it was different, but not like Birth Rebirth. But I thought that the score in this was also cool, and it had like a lot of like it was almost like a new wave Denmark, like Danish music, you know.
Yeah.
But it had a cool kind of vibe to it, and I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I liked it too. It gave you a little European flavor.
Yep. So, anything else you guys want to bring up about this? What about how about this? What about the end? Were you guys satisfied with the ending? Was it what you thought? Was it come out of left field? What did you guys think?
I was okay with the ending. I mean, it gave a satisfactory ending with a little twist at the end. Certainly nothing like you haven't seen before. I mean, it's not original by any stretch, but it's a satisfactory ending as far as I'm concerned, considering what they went through before.
One other thing I forgot to bring up, so I'm glad we're talking about the ending, was this one of the creepiest like movies where someone's brushing their hair?
Oh yes.
That was fucking creepy. I thought that was super effective at the end. Like when she's just.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
And then, because I knew, cause, anyone who has long hair, or have had long hair, I was waiting for that reveal, and I was like, "Yep, fucking boyski."
Raven Chow, you always brush from the bottom first, right?
Yeah. I would do a hair gimmick. I would do a finger gimmick first.
Finger gimmick.
And then I would then comb from the bottom up.
Yeah, you got to get the gnarls out, right?
Yeah, the gnarls
those
bark.
flowing locks going. Yeah, okay. I mean, the sound that it was making, everything. You could just hear the hair like tearing from the scalp and shit. It was really good.
What about the distended fucking stomach? And the reveal of what that was like, come on, really? That I thought that was like they did a really good job of making that fucking creepy, like real quick, and like with the hair brushing, and then with the distended stomach, and like just like being all washed out, like it was well done, very subtle but well done, and even you could see in the hair, like you could see scalp because the hair was brushed so hard and like creepily that it just started pulling it out,
Yeah.
That was great. And I actually really liked the scene. I guess it was in the attic, I think. The sort of like kind of end scene. I really liked that whole sort of thing. I don't want to say what it was, but I like that whole thing, and I like the interaction with the character. That stuff was all really cool, and I think it was honestly, I think it was a perfect ending. I mean, with all that was done in the movie and where you were unsure of where it was going to go, I thought the way it ended was great. Like that's the way it should end, right? So I actually thought it was going to go slightly different. I thought someone else was going to end up in that position, if you will.
Oh, okay.
Because of how her sort of attachment issues, like I thought that it was going to go that way, but in a sense, I think that ending said a lot about attachment,
And it I probably shouldn't say too much more, but yes, it was the ending that made the most sense.
Yes, agreed. And yeah, go ahead.
Good. No, and I think I wanted to hear what you boys were going to say too, and I think because it made the most sense, it's why I think the runtime really should have been cut more so than Monster Zero would agree. But I think it was that made the most sense.
Yeah.
The way it went. Yeah.
Raven Shadow, honestly, I think you want the runtime cut down so you can have more time to watch your MCU movies.
No, he wants it so that he can eat more fucking Uncrustables or actually get 10 more minutes of sleep every night.
No, actually, I started watching The Fall Guy.
Holy shit, I haven't thought about that in ages.
Yeah,
it's The Fall Guy?
Yeah, Lee Majors on The Fall Guy. Colt
I have no
Seaver,
problem
the
with
great
that.
Colt Seaver.
I have no problem with that.
So I've been watching
Wait.
that. That's on Prime.
Apparently there's a new Fall Guy coming out. Oh, it's it's a movie starring Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
Oh shit. It's based on the show.
Yeah.
Did you know about that?
I did.
Huh.
It's
And
it's got to be a comedy, right?
it's action comedy drama, but it's actually directed by David Leitch, and he was the dude who did Bullet Train.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he did John Wick. He was one of the directors of the original John Wick. He did Bullet Train. He did Atomic Blonde, and Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw.
That's a pretty good pedigree for the most part,
and
right?
Deadpool 2.
Oh shit!
So yeah, David Leitch, and it stars Hannah Waddingham, who she's pretty awesome. She was in Ted Lasso.
Okay.
And Ryan Gosling, Aaron Taylor Johnson, ATJ, Emily.
Oh shit!
Emily,
It's Quicksilver, right?
yeah, he was also in Bullet Train. Remember, he was like Lemon or Tangerine, one of those two. I can't remember.
Yep.
It has Lee Majors. Look at that.
I was a huge Fall Guy mark and Tales from the Gold Monkey. Remember those shows?
I don't remember that.
Was the
Tales of the Gold Monkey?
Tales of the Gold Monkey was the Indiana Jones for TV show, for TV. Kind of like Battlestar Galactica was made for TV Star Wars. You've seen it. MZ, you've seen Tales of the Gold Monkey.
I always thought Young Indiana Jones was Indiana Jones.
It had only only had one season, huh?
Well, it was one awesome season back in '83.
Apparently, Ollie loves it.
Oh, it's a big Mark Marsky.
So yeah, I never saw that, but Fall Guy. It's interesting that they're doing a fucking.
I saw the poster for that when I went to go see Wonka.
Oh,
the weekend I saw that Fall Guy poster. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a weird one. I was surprised to see you went to the theater to see Wonka.
Well, I always liked Willy Wonka, but this was no.
Yeah, but it's like Timothy Chalamet as Wonka.
Yeah.
Was he good at all? I mean, for what he did in it.
He wasn't the problem. It was the writing. It was really bad.
Yeah, because it's a different Wonka. It's like a younger Wonka, right?
Yeah, but the time frame is all off. I mean, Wilder's Wonka takes place in 1971. He's about 10 years older than Chalamet. At least he looks it anyway.
Yeah.
So the movie should take place sometime in the late 50s, early 60s, and instead this takes place during the 30s. And I don't understand why movies do that. What is it about the 30s?
Does it try to tie it in with Gene Wilder's Wonka?
Outside of a couple of lines spoken, no.
So I'm sure they're just doing their own thing. It probably just isn't tied to it, but
yeah. I mean, you got Keegan-Michael Key, who's an American, and he's playing like the chief of police in London. I mean, I mean, there is one bright spot, and that's Rowan Atkinson.
Oh shit! I haven't seen him in anything in a while.
Because Rowan Atkinson is great in anything.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I'm looking for my watch.
He plays the priest of the church.
Oh, okay. That must be interesting.
Yeah.
Just
Have you seen my watch?
All right. So, anything else you guys wanted to add to this? Did everyone
let's close this.
Did everyone talk about the ending? Raven Chad, did you have anything to add about the ending?
Yeah, no, I like the clandestine meeting, and I like the
Oh.
bike scene.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because that's what I was going to say. I think the only thing that was funny about this really was that scene where she meets him in the woods, and Lev like, "Why are we meeting in the woods?"
Oh, yeah.
Like, I thought that was pretty hilarious.
Where's my car? There's no parking out here.
Yeah. I did think that was pretty good. All right. Well, let's. All right. Let's do the verdict on this one.
Trick or treat, baby.
I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right. Verdict time. We're going to let you know whether attachment was a trick or a treat. And any final thoughts? Let's kick it off with MZ.
This is a good movie. There's enough meat on the bone here. I say that only because early on, when the clues start pouring in, you're gonna understand what kind of a movie you're getting, and you've seen it before. So it's not original. A couple of steps are taken to try and make it original, but not enough where you can't catch on early to know what you're getting yourself into. But there's still, like I said, there's still enough meat on the bone here to make it interesting. The performances are really, really good. The location is neat. You don't get to see,
Denmark and London.
Yeah. And where else are you going to find an actress who speaks fluent English, Danish, and Yiddish?
Yeah.
Really, where are you going to find another actress to do that? That's a
Very
find.
specific, yeah.
That's a find. So kudos to them to find her. That's the mom I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
And so, but it's still a decent movie because there's still something here that's kept interesting, even though it's not completely original. And I appreciate Lev for teaching me a few of the Jewish mysticisms that I otherwise wouldn't have any idea what he was talking about. So I appreciate him. Overall, this is a good film. I would recommend it. This is one that should be watched. This is a treat.
So would you say that Lev provided some levity?
Yes, he did, especially in the woods.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Like, there's just something, he didn't have a lot of screen time, but I did really like that character. He was very engaging and likable. And yeah, like just something really cool about him. I'd love to see like, like almost like I mean, this movie doesn't need an offshoot, but like, if there was some like Lev, like, Jewish fucking exorcist or something like that, like I think he was an interesting character, and while I liked his interaction, I feel like he wasn't overused. I feel like, there's enough there to make it really interesting, a really interesting character that they could have done a little bit more with if they wanted to. But yeah, so I agree. All right, Raven Shadow, go ahead and give your verdict.
Yeah, there were things I liked the love story. I liked the characters. There were a lot of things I liked at this picture. I know I seem to be harping on the runtime.
But I don't know what gave it away. The fact that you brought it up about 6 times. It's only an hour and 45 minutes. It's not like it's fucking... Yeah. I mean, how long is fucking Avengers Endgame or whatever? Like, you're going to complain? Yeah, you're going to complain about that runtime?
No, because there was intergalactic conflict and half the population was wiped out in the galaxy. This movie didn't need that. Overall, I would say is a tepid treat. Tepid treat.
Okay. That it?
Yeah.
All right. For me, I really dug this movie, and I think they did a really nice job with the relationship. I think they treated it with care and respect. It wasn't gratuitous. It and I feel like we're kind of settling into this groove now where for a while I feel like it was like a lot of films had like gay or lesbian couples just because, if we do this, we'll get, focus with LGBTQ groups and whatnot. I feel like it was gimmicky, but now I feel like a lot of times, not every time, but a lot of times it's just natural. And it's just like, yeah, that's the way fucking life is. Like there are couples that are made up of two women. There are couples that are made up of two men. There's couples that are made up of two men and one woman or whatever, like whatever people want, as long as everyone is cool with it, then that's great. And it should be treated with respect and shouldn't be gratuitous just for the sake of being gratuitous. I feel like sometimes like some filmmakers would be like, yeah, let's have a lesbian couple so we can have a lesbian love scene. Yeah, let's do that.
Right. A hairbrush incident or like, like Bound or like,
yeah.
Shit like that.
Now
like,
we're in a
normal.
we're in a position now where just do what you want to do, and you don't have to call attention to it. In this case, I feel like it fits the story really well, and yeah, I liked where it went, and I like that we didn't quite know what was going on, like what was who the villain was in this, or like what was happening, or what the mom's motive was, or motivation, I guess. So yeah, I think overall they did a really good job of letting this unfold and letting it breathe while giving you some hints and clues along the way without blatantly saying boom, 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 this is it, So right. I think this is good. And that combined with the relationship between Maya and Leia, and even I actually really liked the relationship between Maya and Chana, the mom. Like, I liked how that developed and how it got, like, pretty bad, to the point where it was, like, severed. And then, then I think the mom saw how Maya really felt, and I think that made a difference. And, yeah, so I think that this is a really good flick. And I like the subject matter. I like that it deals with a different aspect of mysticism that we don't quite see all the time. It's not a Christian or Catholic demon. It's not an angel or whatever. It's something a little bit different. So I enjoyed that, and I think it treats the source material with respect as well. It's not like they didn't just say like, oh, well, let's use a fucking, Jewish Kabbalah and use this creature or this monster or whatever. And, I feel like it all made sense in the grand scheme of things. So, yeah, this is a well-made movie. It is a good movie, and I will definitely say it is a treat for me. Look at that. I think we got all treats in December. Oh, no, we didn't.
Wow.
We didn't. Because, oh, no, never mind. I'm sorry. Suicide Squad was November because MZ didn't give that a treat. But I think for the most part, I think it was mostly treats this month. That's pretty good for a December double feature cram jam.
It's true.
I don't remember if everyone gave It's a Wonderful Knife a treat.
I gave Visitors a trick.
Oh, of course. I forgot Visitors. Never mind. Yeah, never mind. Raven Shot gave it a trick too. All right. So, well, that's going to do it for December double feature cram jam for 2023. That's going to do it for 2023. We've done our films. I want to say we reviewed something like 60 something films. I'll get the stats. in the year-end show, but it ended up being somewhere in the 60s, I believe. We did 60 films this year, and we will pick our top 13, and we'll be releasing that on the 1st of the year. So once again, 61. Okay, good. Yeah. So once again, if you guys want to submit a top 5 list for the year-end show, please feel free. Go ahead and you can be anything you want. Top 5, I don't know, like top 5 Raven Shadow smokes. I don't know. Anything you want. Any list at all. Feel free to use your discretion, your creativity, and come up with some cool lists and send them to us. Podcast at trickortreatradio.com. Just get it to me by, hopefully people hear this episode, get it to me by Saturday, what will be that date? The 30th, is it? Yeah, Saturday, December 30th, around 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll make sure to get those lists on the year-end show. Now, next week, we will kick off 2024. And we'll be doing so with none other than Mr. Nicolas Cage.
What?
Well, yeah.
He's going to be on?
No. Well, his movie. What? We're doing one of the movies. Yeah, we're going to get Nicolas Cage on this fucking show.
Oh,
maybe. We'd have to pay him to come on this. All right. Well, next week we'll be doing an interesting looking film where Nick Cage is a balding man who is like I think he's a teacher or something like that. But anyways, the movie's called Dream Scenario. Have you guys seen the trailer or anything about this?
No.
All right. Well, might be better off if you don't. It looks like an interesting one. Dream Scenario. It is listed as a comedy horror, but it is available to rent or buy on VOD right now, so you can give it a look and come back and join us next week as we discuss. And if you have thoughts, feel free to send them our way. Podcast at trickortreatradio.com. So, Dream Scenario, starring Nicolas Cage and directed by Christopher Borgli or Borley. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not familiar with him. So, there you go. That's next week. All right. Well, I think we should wrap this up. It's getting late. We got a lot of podcasting to do still this weekend, and it's the end of the year. So do you guys have anything before we wrap up the episode?
Nope, not really.
All right. Well, let's say goodbye. Oh, I'm sorry. We have voice message. Oh, silly me. I got excited there for going to bed soon, but it's all right. I really want to hear from folks. So let me go ahead and get this one queued up. Sorry for the false alarm there, MZ. Oh, he's going to go take the dog out, I think. All right, so let's check in with our boy First Time Mike.
FTM.
What's up, Trick or Treat family? This is First Time Mike. First off, I'd like to wish everybody a happy New Year's. May your upcoming year be full of success. May your friends and family have all the best. And if you have any obstacles in your way this year, may you get through them quickly and cleanly.
Thank you.
Second of all, and more importantly, I'd like to wish a happy birthday to the Parisian Brouhaha, the Italian Rapscallion, the man of so many nicknames I can't remember them off the top of my head, and the person that gave me First Time Mike the moniker.
Yeah.
Michael Raven Shadow. Happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you, Boo.
Again, wish you all the best. Hope you got some good birthday presents. Were you one of those kids that ended up getting gypped out of good? Did they combine the Christmas presents with the birthday presents, or did you actually have parents and family that actually gave you a little bit of both? I'm always curious about people that have birthdays this close to Christmas. And I'd like to say that the classic Michael Raven Shadow picture that they use on the Hollywood Squares that you and the Zombie Girls were playing last week. Is that the Earth 2 Raven Shadow? Inquiring minds want to know. Well, good night, guys. I know it's really late, so this is first time Mike wishing again everybody Happy New Year's and first time Mike drop out. Bye.
All right, first time Mike. Always great to hear from you, buddy. Raven Shadow, what do you got to say?
Oh, such a brother.
Well-
Brother rating out of 10.
Oh, he asked about the picture. So yeah, that was like an old photo shoot way back when.
That was old school.
Yeah.
That was yeah. It was before I grew my hair out a second time.
Yeah, that was back in the old video podcast, CryptoCast days.
Yeah. That photo was funny because I remember I was showing my stylist. I'm like, do this for me. And she's like, oh, is that Johnny Depp? I'm like, no, it's fucking me. Are you really? Are you fucking insane? Like, you shouldn't be cutting my hair. But yeah, that was old school. What else did in terms of keeping it separated? No, my mom was very adamant about keeping them separated. So she laid the law down with the family. So
She wrote that song, Keep Them Separated, just for you.
Oh yeah. Way before fucking Noodles from fucking Offspring, I'll tell you that much. Hi, it's Noodles from Offspring. But yeah, no, Angela didn't fuck around. So yeah, it was always separate. So we had separate events. Even yesterday, I had my Mary and I went over to my parents' house. We got pizza and opened up my birthday presents because I'm 47 years old.
Was there a pack of smokes in there?
No, but it was fun. I got some Star Wars merch. I got a dope Yoda that you can put outside with a welcome. It's solar powered Yoda. It's fucked up. I'll show you.
That's awesome.
But it's cool. But yeah, no, thank you, first time Mike, and thank you. A lot of great outreach by peeps yesterday. So
all the brothers and sisters.
All the brothers and sisters.
Brother and sister rating out of 10.
It's true. And those who didn't outreach, I know who you are. No. But thank you, FTM. I love you, boo.
All right, we do have a video. Let me get this queued up here. So we're gonna hear from our boy, Casual Noob Sabat. He has a video review. So let's see here. Let's play this thing.
The new haircut.
So I just watched Attachment, a Shudder exclusive. Where to start with this movie? This movie surprised me, and I don't want to ruin that surprise for anyone because I feel that the surprise was at the core of what this movie was going for. Also, this movie has a love story, Jewish mysticism, surprise twists, and last, so it's the best, a lost cat. One scene in particular I had to rewind back because I was confused over who really did what with the food.
Yeah.
Apparently, though, it was water under the bridge later on. I mean, you do that with me, and someone better hold me back because I would be irate. This movie gave me the creeps and had me on the edge of my seat the whole time. You don't know if the mother is evil or otherwise, or just a mother.
Yeah.
I mean, whose mother doesn't give us special massages? Please don't call CPS. Anyway, no, really. This movie was a big treat, and it makes me want to keep my AMC Plus Shudder subscription. So, guys, thanks again for recommending this movie. I'm really glad I got to watch it. Hopefully, I'll be catching the second movie before time, so I can send you guys a little video on that too.
Awesome.
This is Casual Noob Saibot signing out. Later.
Awesome. Great to hear from Casual Noob. I like the Child Protective Services.
Casual News been killing it.
Yeah, that's he has and I'm glad he took the feedback to heart, because I think legit. I think his reviews have been awesome lately.
Yeah,
that's great review. I appreciate it, Casual Noob. It's always good to hear from you, my friend. And let me just double check. I don't think he got the other one in, but I'm just gonna go check his YouTube. Yeah, so we just got the one for attachment. So in the future, though, if you do give a look to Rebirth, feel free to send that video.
Yeah.
And I like the way he put it. That and I'm glad that he didn't, kind of give away some of the stuff at the end. But yeah, it's I think it's a really great thoughts, and yeah, it was a good movie. So appreciate it, Casual Noob. Got the haircut going.
Yeah.
He's got the goatee going too, I think. Looking good.
Yeah.
So you're going to be mistaken for Raven Shadow.
Yes.
You never know. All right. So we had one other. You know what? This one actually came in during the live show we just did. It was towards the end of doing the live show on Friday. So I don't know if it was intended for that, but just in case, I'm going to play it right now anyways. And so we are going to hear from Tim from Melbourne.
Unbelievable. Tim from Melbourne here again. Just waiting for Krampusnacht to start. While we're waiting for him to do a voicemail. So, hey, hope you had a good 2023 and the 2024 is better. I'm probably going to look for a new job because it's put me on the new role and it sucks. They tell me off for stuff I did two weeks before and I don't even know what it was. So yeah, no, I think this job I've been put in is for younger people than me and probably smarter ones. So I'll start looking in January because there's nothing around at the moment. I just did that photo book rather than doing the reviews towards the end of the year. Don't have as many DVDs and that. I'm going to Godzilla -1 after Christmas and going to see the fit out at the bar they did at the cinema. They've done a Poor Things fit out, which they usually only do something like that for the new Wes Anderson movie, but that one sounds alright. And hopefully I'll see Poor Things. I'll see if I win it in the competition, but if it don't, I'll go see it in another cinema. All right, thanks.
All right, Tim from Melbourne. Always good to hear from you, bud. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah.
And so I'll just mention it. He brought up one of my most anticipated films, and that's Poor Things. As soon as that hits VOD, we're doing it. That's the latest film from Yorgos Lanthimos, director of Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Oh.
And it's another take on Frankenstein, starring what's her name? Emma
Blunt.
No, Emma Stone.
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone.
My next choice.
Yep, Mark Ruffalo, Willem Dafoe.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah, it looks pretty outstanding. So yeah, can't wait for that. So we'll be doing that as soon as it hits VOD. Hopefully it's soon, but it may be up to some Oscars. So it might stick in theaters for a little bit, and then maybe around February it might hit VOD. Another one I'm looking forward to is The Iron Claw.
Oh yeah, boy, I love comedies.
So I can guarantee we will be doing that. I mean,
good.
We have to do a wrestling movie, right? Like A24 wrestling movie. It's not horror, but I feel like some of the stuff that happens is horrifying. So I think it would have to fit the bill. We'll make an exception.
There's nothing fun loving about the Von Erichs.
No. So yeah, appreciate the voice message, Tim. Now I think I'm all caught up. So let me just double check all the chats, make sure I didn't miss anything. Casual Noob, he's checking in. He says, if you've ever been in love, then you can always appreciate to see two people fall in love, irregardless of it being between a man and a woman, or two men or two women. Love is love is love. I couldn't have said it better myself.
What a fucking nice man.
Yeah, that's a great sentiment there, Casual Noob. I appreciate you putting that in there. I agree. You know what? Who fucking cares? It could be a fucking cat and an alien. I don't give a fuck. If you love each other, that's all that fucking matters. Right, MZ?
Right.
Or it could be the love between a mustache and an upper lip. Love is love is love.
Yeah.
All right. And on that note, we're done. Let's say goodbye, starting with MZ.
Arrivederci, douchebags.
All right, Raven Shadow.
Live fast, love hard, die with your mask on.
And MZ, are we going to see that mustache go away soon?
Yeah. I tried trimming it down to what I have here because I didn't want to shave it off because I don't want to walk around with nothing on my face. So
just letting it catch up.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Pretty much.
All right. Well, hopefully next week we're back to ending closer to 11. It's almost fucking midnight. This is ridiculous. So, yeah. In the future, next December, we're going to have to figure something out with December double feature Cram Jam. These episodes are too long. But next week, back to one film. We will be doing the latest. Well, I don't know if it's the latest. I think he has like 42 fucking films in the can. But we'll be doing Dream Scenario starring Nicolas Cage. You can check that out on VOD. Come back next week. Hang out with us. Everyone have a happy and safe New Year. Don't do anything Raven Shadow wouldn't do. All right? See you then.